Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley Flowers, and if you're like me and grew up watching America's Most Wanted and reading Nancy Drew, then hi, you're a crime junkie. And I bet that passion for solving mysteries never went away, which is why we've assembled a team of reporters to dig deep into all the cases we still obsess over. Each Monday, my best friend Britt and I will bring you a case that you won't be able to stop thinking and talking about. So join us by listening to Crime Junkie wherever you listen to podcasts.
This week, in Oakley, Utah, a tranquil family vacation in the mountains turns into an absolute bloodbath while one person heroically escapes the horrible scene. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmie. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. We have an absolutely incredibly crazy episode today. We've had stories of a person, surviving a terrible scene and getting away from it, like Baraboo and stuff. We've never had anybody get away from a scene like this before in the history of our show. And there's dead people, but one of the people, it is insane.
A woman just took a 45 to the chest, James.
This is, Jimmie,
All right.
This is like, that was nothing. That was a fantasy camp compared to what happened here.
I mean,
and that's
she did
saying
have
something.
Hot cocoa waiting for an ambulance.
And that wasn't good either. But this is just insane. We will get to that quickly. Before we do, though, you want to definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com today. Get your tickets for the 2023 live tour for Small Town Murder. Oh, we are going all over the country. We cannot wait. Yeah. All the shows through May are on sale right now. The rest of them will be on sale in a couple weeks. Shows are selling out. Portland's sold out. Seattle's almost sold out. St. Louis almost sold out. Get those tickets. February 10th is opening night of the tour in Cleveland.
Let's go.
Get your tickets there. Those are selling very fast, too, so get them now or they're going to be gone. And St. Louis, if you don't get them right now, you definitely aren't going to get them because that's the next night on the 11th.
That's crazy.
Get in there. I'm telling you right now, we're going to have so much fun. If you haven't been to a live show, you need to go to a live show. Trust us. Good stuff there. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of the bonus material. Oh, my goodness. Anybody, $5 a month or above, you get access to every bonus episode we put out. There's a huge back catalog of bonus stuff you're going to get to binge on. And then every other week, you are going to get 2 new episodes.
Right.
1 crime and sports, 1 small town murder, and you get it all. This week, what you're going to get is for crime and sports, we're going to talk about when players attack. And it's when players attack fans, when they've had enough and they go into the stands and a professional athlete in the height of their physical prowess attacks a 50-year-old man who's sitting there with a hot dog. And that's not a good scene. We're going to talk about those. And then for small town murder, Nazis on drugs. All right. Yeah. What the hell made Germany freak out and do all this crazy shit? Well, a lot of it was drug induced, or at least helped. A lot of it was a drug euphoria where they were like, everything's going to be fine because Hitler was getting speedballs. I shit you not. We'll talk all about it. There's a book that has all of his doctor's personal notes and everything like that on what he gave everybody. It's insane. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of that. And you get a shout out at the end of the show where Jimmie will certainly fuck your name up while he really wants to get it right. So that said, time for the disclaimer. This is a comedy show. We are comedians. The show, actually, remarkably, everything is true. You'd hear it and go, well, some of that had to be made up if they're comedians. No, everything is 100% true, but there are jokes that get made because funny, crazy things happen around murders. When someone decides, I think I'm going to do a crazy murder and get away with it, right there, that's a funny thought because, no, that's a stupid thing to think.
You're
so
not gonna do it.
We're going to make fun of that sort of thing. Yeah, we have to. We have to do it. But
300-something weeks, and that still hasn't happened.
It still hasn't happened. So, but what we don't do, what we go out of our way not to do, is we do not make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes,
but
we're not scumbags.
Hey.
That's how that works. So if that sounds good to you, man, do we have a wild episode for you. If you think true crime and comedy never, ever, ever go together, well, maybe we're not for you, but maybe we are. Give it a shot, but no bitching afterwards. How about that? Let's make a deal with that. While we make that deal, let's sit back and clear the lungs. I don't care where you are. I don't care. Out your car window. Frozen food aisle, like we said. Stand upon your cubicle at work and shout to all the miserable people, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmie. Let's go on a trip, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's go. We're going all the way to Utah this week.
Oh, hey.
Hey. Been a while since we've been in Utah. We're going to Oakley, Utah.
Oh, the birthplace of douche glasses.
Yeah, that's where they come from, which it's probably actually what they're trying to,
you're right.
Because this is right outside Park City, Utah, which is all skiing and
I'll
snow.
I'll bet that's where it's from.
It's probably from there.
Yeah.
It's about
probably started the goggles there.
Probably about an hour to Salt Lake City, about a half hour outside Park City. Okay. So it's right there. 4 hours to our last Utah episode, Paragona, which was episode 303, Born to Win. And that was a guy who was certainly not born to win, but had a tattoo that said Born to Win, which is amazing to me. I just love that.
Certainly optimistic.
Oh, Jesus. This is in Summit County, Utah, area code 435. History of this place. There was Ute Indians were here first, Utah, the Ute Indians. And then here came the Mormon pioneers, as they were called at the time. And they were like, oh, God, these people are weird. And the Indians obviously got out of that basin pretty quickly at that point.
Stop knocking on our houses.
Or like, they just won't go away. We threatened them. We tried. They just won't stop. They just they're really nice. They keep bringing baked goods, and we just want them to leave. They're smiling. No, that's the thing. You try to be mean to them, and they just keep being nice to you. It's hard to get them to go away. It's strange. Parley Pratt came here. Parley P. Pratt was this guy's name. Triple P.
Okay.
Parley Pratt. He was sent to the valley from Salt Lake City by Brigham Young himself.
Is that right?
In 1850 to check on the possibility of establishing settlements along the Weber River near the Provo River. And his report was, quote, a good valley, abundant grass, and plenty of water.
Already occupied.
People here. That's why there's a bunch of people here already. He left off that part. There's still a lot of people.
We're going to take it.
Another guy named Thomas Rhodes was the, quote, first white man to winter here, to spend the whole winter here. He was an explorer, trapper, prospector, farmer, friend of Brigham Young. And he was called from California by Brigham Young when there was a need for money for the church. So this guy would disappear for a week or so into the mountains and come back with a shitload of gold and give it to them and say, here you go.
Really?
Yeah, keep building stuff. And then he'd go back to California and come back when they needed money. So, Oakley's original name was Oak Creek, which is a lot of places named Oak Creek.
There is.
Changed its name to Oakley in 1886. And it was actually, the new name was chosen in like a contest. A bunch of settlers submitted their name ideas, and they took Oakley there.
Somebody heard of Little Annie.
That's what it is. So at one time, they made a shitload of dairy products there. And now it says more recently it is focused on cattle and horse feeding and haying. Haying. So they make hay here. Also, this is the huge place for recreational outdoor shit. This is where you ride a horse, through a mountain to go fishing and hiking, and you do all that kind of shit.
Instagram.
This is where everybody's Instagram story is. They go to Sundance that weekend, and they spend one day though on a horseback and overlooking a mountain, so they can in Oakley. Here's a story from here, which I just found amazing. This is a story that somebody wrote, a true story. This is like their diary from back then. Quote, we, like everyone else, had outside plumbing and no running water. We always had a Sears catalog and Montgomery Ward's catalog in the outhouse, which was a real good idea. We never had any money to buy anything from the catalog. For years, I thought the Sears and Montgomery Ward's catalogs were for that purpose only.
What purpose? Just
wiping your ass.
That's it?
Yeah, they thought they send you these books so you can all wipe your ass. Oh, our ass wiping book is here, and you can look at the stuff, and then you can go, well, I'm done with that page, and you wipe your ass with it.
It's smooth and clean.
I looked at all the winter coats. You just
then they would compost it.
Yeah, maybe back then it was. I'm sure it was on rougher paper. I don't think it was that slick paper in the 80s and 90s.
Waxy.
That Montgomery
glossy.
Ward catalog was glossy when we were kids. Remember that? It was like, whoa, this thing is slick.
Can you imagine those
like
sitting in
cards.
an outhouse, shitting, reading magazines? A very nice thing
that you can't afford, and then wiping your ass
with the advertisements for indoor plumbing toilets.
Yep. Jesus Christ.
Yikes.
So he said, here's an event they wanted to relay. My mother took us all to find the milk cow. I guess the milk cow had run away.
We got to chase it.
Chase down the milk cow. He said,
you want cereal? Gotta go get your milk.
Goddamn cow ran away. She chasing him with a bowl of Lucky Charms in one hand, waving at him in the other hand. Hey, come back here, goddammit.
Come here, Jesse.
Jesus Christ. He said, we were walking along a trail through the trees when suddenly just ahead there stood a grizzly bear. Standing on its hind legs and in no friendly mood. Well, I always assume a grizzly bear's not in a good mood. Even if he's like drinking a cup of coffee and he's smoking a cigarette and he waves me over, I'm still thinking he doesn't want me there.
I don't think you're finding the Charmin bears in the woods.
I swear to God, he could be hanging out, just have like a hipster mustache, and he's like, come here, pal, let's talk for a minute. And I'm like,
nope.
You want any weed? No, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
You're going to eat me. I know how this ends.
I know this. I'm not grizzly man. I'm not stupid. He said, you can imagine how Mother felt. I don't believe any of us kids felt danger like that, like she did. I recall the incident, but not the particulars. My mother, in relating the story, said that she told us not to move or make a sound. I'm certain, knowing my mother, that her heart was reaching out to God for help. Soon the grizzly dropped down on all fours, turned, and ambled away. There was no further attempt to find the cow that night. Yeah. Fuck the Lucky Charms.
It just left?
It just left. It was like, because if you stand perfectly still, sometimes they don't want to deal with you anymore. It's that's one of the strategies, which I don't know how you do that. Fight or flight, that's neither. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your
I don't
body
know.
has fight or flight. That's stay still and don't move. That's neither, Mom.
Also, you know what happens when a pizza stays still and doesn't move? I fucking eat it.
I eat it faster. Yeah. If it ran away, I probably wouldn't eat as much pizza. If you had to worry about the pepperoni getting up and running off the top of it, I'd probably order it, without it. So they found water. In 1998, Mayor Doug Evans and the town of Oakley discovered an underground aquifer containing water that had not seen the surface in at least 18,000 years.
How the hell do you know that?
Because
pterodactyl bones?
No, you could tell geologists can tell.
Okay. So they saw the sentiment in between. They didn't just pull the water up and go.
18,000. They licked it. Yeah,
like a sommelier.
It's good. Yeah, put one finger in, touched it like in a cop movie when they get Coke. Yeah. That's the good stuff there. You just
18 guys, 18.
18. According to carbon testing on other shit too, is how they found that. Found nearly 1,900 feet below the surface in a layer of Mississippian limestone. The water proved among the purest ever tested, free of tritium and any other contamination from the nuclear age. It's totally all the shit we've done to fuck everything up in the modern day. This has been protected. Yeah,
Mississippian limestone.
Requiring little treatment, the water is free of pesticides, herbicides, and the town now uses this water from the Humbug well for its municipal supply, and local businessmen have bought the rights to the water and sell it under different labels. So That's how good it is. Famous people that live here. There is a famous person. Katherine Heigl lives here.
Oh, she's there now?
Awful. Yeah, she's there right now.
With a shit face?
Look at her. Yeah, all angry. Reviews of this town. There's only one review, and they love it. Quote, many people don't like the idea of living in a small town, but I love it. All right. I enjoyed my small high school where I knew everyone and had many opportunities. I hope that I can move there when I grow up and have a house and and a family of my own. Aren't you from there when you grow up?
So they left? They were kicked out?
Hold on. They went to high school there.
Yeah.
It's therefore grown up now once you're done with high school. But then they said, I hope I can move there when I grow up, which is...
You're all grown up.
I don't understand what they're talking about. And then you live there. Why'd you move if it was so great? What's going on? Right. Who are you? Did two people split this review? What's happening?
Yeah, do you have to get on Grey's Anatomy to be able to afford this place?
Well, let's talk about it. People in this town, 1,763. Small place.
Oh, it's tiny.
It's tiny, yeah, very small. 53% female, for about 47% male. Median age is low, about 32.7. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that is because there's a lot of Mormons here, obviously. And a lot of people 25 to 34 and shitloads of kids 0 to 9. So there you go. That's all the towns in Utah kind of have that same demographic like that. Mm-hmm. Family here, about 69% of the people here are married. That's Utah, yeah, because it's normally 50-50. Only 7% are divorced, which is way lower than normal. 54% are married with children. Only 5% are single with children, so that doesn't happen often. Race of this town, 89.7% white. So pretty white. It's what you expect in the mountains of Utah. 0.0% black. Okay. 0.1% Asian.
Interesting.
Hi, there. Have you seen our Asian man? Hi, wave to him. Hi. Hi, Bill. His name's Bill, by the way. Hi, Bill. He waves back. How you doing? Just showing. I'm showing my friend. He hasn't seen. I told him. I bet him $5 there was an Asian. He didn't believe me. Okay, and he waves back. Bye.
0.1%.
0.1%, 10.2% Hispanic. So it is rich white people and the people they hire to clean their shit up is essentially what lives here. And that's what it is. It's Park City, Utah. That's what that is. Religion, 59% are religious. And it's normal. It's normally 50-50 in the rest of the country.
But that's low for fucking Utah.
It is. 36% of the people here, though, are Mormon. So that is definitely. And 15% are Catholic, which almost lines up with the Hispanic ethnicity pretty well. Yeah. And a couple other people there. 2.0% Jewish. Hey,
what?
Hey. Let's do it. Hava Nagila. Hava Nagila. Hava Nagila. I don't know the words. Hey. I love it. We don't get to do it very often.
Unbelievable. 2% in Utah. I'm shocked.
I don't know if they live here full time. I don't know. A lot of people live here half the time too. This is like a vacation place. So a lot of people that is like that. Yeah. There's a lot of people like for everybody. I don't know. Sure. Out of the 1,700, I don't know how many are full time residents. It's probably not that many. 58% in the last election voted Democratic in this county. 39% voted Republican. 3% Independent. And unemployment rate here is about half the rest of the country, which is very low. Median household income, $73,295 here, which is
doing well.
Which is high, but the problem is the cost of living is also high. The 100's average here, it's 132. And the median home cost here, Jimmy.
Oh, boy.
I feel like a drum roll is needed for this.
Oh, God.
$597,100.
$600,000.
Median home cost. That is
right in the middle. Holy shit.
Remarkable. That is so expensive. Holy shit. Wow.
Oh my God.
And you can't even find anything for that. That's like a
right?
that's like a condo, like that's attached to other shit. It's like an apartment,
Priced
basically.
Everybody out.
So if we've convinced you that, well, we don't have to convince you. If you have millions of dollars and would like a pretty place to summer and ski in the winter, we have for you the Oakley, Utah Real Estate Report. Your average two-bedroom rental here goes for $1,176, which is actually like the national average, but I don't think they exist here. That was the problem.
Probably not.
It's more like nightly, weekly rentals, not like an apartment to rent.
That's friendly sublets for the night when somebody's too drunk.
Yeah.
You can pay me $1,100 and go home in the morning.
It's $1,176 for the night. I found a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,250 square feet. It's a log cabin with some upscale, touches to it is all it is. It's all it is. But when you look at the picture of it, it just sits on a mountainside like by itself. Like it's beautiful. The view is just of the valley and the mountains and it's an unbelievable view.
That's so bad.
Pretty remarkable. $998,000 for that. It's a little pricey, let's just say. I was waiting to hit you with that. Hit you over the head with that. Shake your right.
That's the cheap one.
Shake with my right hand and bash you with a club with my left. That's how that works. Next up, we have a 7-bedroom, 8-bath T-bowl for each and every bee-hole, one for the neighbors, 8,312 square feet. It's another big log cabin mansion, but this one's bigger, obviously. It's fucking huge.
8,000 square feet.
8,000. They have like a little tiny, kind of guest house cabin, but it's like a little kid play thing.
Yeah.
It's like a little mini house. It's kind of neat, I guess. But otherwise, it's just kind of a big, boring mansion. If you're you just want to show people that you're rich and can afford this. It is $2,799,999.
Almost $3 million to flex.
Well,
Lord.
Here we go. 5-bedroom, 7-bath, 7,188 square foot place. It's big. It's like 4 acres. They have a whole garage for snowmobiles. Put it that way.
Oh, God, that's so
They have one whole garage just dedicated to filling it up with snowmobiles. That's how rich these people are.
And that's become a market, James, that people they compete with their friends who's got the cooler one.
It's
fucking unbelievable.
It's crazy. $3,400,000 for that. So
it's a joke.
It costs a lot of money to live here. Let's just say that. Wow. It's very expensive. Things to do here. The Oakley Rodeo.
Okay.
Yay. It's mixed in with the Oakley Independence Day as well. There's like a whole
they do it in the summer. Yeah.
The whole big thing here, yeah. So the annual event, it's a 4-day professional rodeo cowboy association sanctioned event. The PRCA sanctioned.
You betcha.
Have you ever heard of that before?
I've
you
got
know
a
of that?
belt buckle, James. You're
that says the
goddamn right. I know about it.
PRCA.
The PRCA is everything.
Oh boy, yeah, that's true. It competes with the NFL. I know. We're talking about valuable ventures and entities.
PRCA.
Featuring bucking broncs, raring bulls, cowboys, cowgirls, and rodeo queens. Oh, isn't that nice?
That sounds like the PRCA to me.
That's nice. They have I like how inclusive they are.
Rodeo queens, really?
I like how inclusive they are. That's very nice. They have a nice rodeo. Is it like a Western drag show? Is that a Western themed drag show? That's nice of them to do that. I'm glad. You want to be inclusive.
Now the lead lady on the horse comes out with the rainbow flag too. That's
beautiful.
That's very welcoming.
This just sounds like the event that Borat was saying terrible things at, and people were cheering for. That's
or wherever the fuck that was.
That's what that was. I think it was in Oklahoma. Was it?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
that one.
But it seems similar to that. And rodeo queens are all in attendance to make this a true Western-rooted celebration. There's all sorts of shit like that. They have concession stands everywhere, by the way. Huge here. Here's the menu.
I would watch a gay rodeo, I think. That would be hilarious.
That'd be great. It would be an event.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. I don't know about hilarious.
That would be the most entertaining thing I've ever seen.
I mean, I think they'd add more elements to it.
They would make it funny on purpose.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be a show. Yeah. It wouldn't be.
It's so fun.
Yeah, I'll go to a gay rodeo. That'd be pretty hilarious. Like you said,
I think jeans under those chaps.
Well, I think there would be a show going on. Yeah. It would have a thing happening. It wouldn't just
sparklers and
It wouldn't just be like, well, here's Chet. Chet's been riding since he was 3, and there he comes out, and he's got a big lip of tobacco and no expression on his face.
Dominates a bull.
Yeah, I want to see some colorful something. Yeah. So concession stands here include the famous rodeo hamburger. Get that.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Hot dogs.
Probably chopped just like every other hamburger.
It's just a hamburger. It's a rodeo hamburger. It's made from the beaten bulls. The defeated bulls. We make fucking hamburgers out of them.
The ones that we can ride for 20, 25 seconds, we just grind them up.
Grind them on up now. Hot dogs, pizza by the slice, nachos, bottled drinks, popcorn, candy, cotton candy, snow cones. They should have just said normal concession stand shit.
Yep, it's your run-of-the-mill circus.
We didn't need that. Hot beverages like hot chocolate and coffee. Note, it says, the Oakley Independence Day Rodeo is a dry rodeo where alcohol is not sold or served. No outside food or drinks are allowed. So get shit-faced in the parking lot.
Unbelievable.
No, shit-faced in the parking lot. There's all sorts of...
What's a rodeo without a beer?
It seems like that's the only way to get through it. I would think the only people not shit-faced would be the bulls, I would imagine, right? Everybody else would be hammered. Who gets on a bull without having a couple drinks first? You know what I'm saying?
I swear to God, dude, I want to take you so bad.
I can't deal with those fucking people. I can't do it.
Like the only way
I can't. It seems right to me. They have what is this? Oh my God! You can do the junior rodeo rough stock sign up.
Oh boy,
that sounds like rough trade there.
Sounds like tougher than mutton busting. Jesus. These are like hardened criminal children.
Rider must have closed-toed shoes. They have these kids with their sandals hanging off.
How many times do you have a kid out there in fucking Birkenstocks?
I don't know. Sheep ages 8 and under, steer ages 7 to 14. I don't know if that's how old the sheep are or the kids. I'm not sure. Then there's a treasure dig, an arena race, and a chicken race. So... Get on down there for that.
I want to see what that means.
This is a disaster. I don't want any part of this. Crime rate in this town. Okay. What we're interested in here, property crimes, about half the average rate. Very low. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime, also it's low. It's about 1/3 of the national average. So
it's surprising how not violent nor thieving you are when you have $3 million to buy a cabin.
When you have a garage full of snowmobiles, what is there to steal?
Yeah, you've got
before you buy a garage full of snowmobiles, you have to have everything else, right? Like you've run out of necessities and even like things that you might need and like funeral suits. You got like 5 of those. You have everything covered. And then you're like, let's buy a shitload of snow. I have so much money. I just need to let's buy a bunch of. This isn't even our regular house. We just come here a couple weeks out of the year.
This is where we just fuck around.
That's rich. So that said, let's talk about a murder. Shall we, right now? Let's do it. Oh, my God, this is a crazy fucking story. Wow. Harrowing tale of disaster this is. It's insane. And heroism, and this story has it all. It really does.
Great.
We're going to go back to 1990 for this. Oh, I love it.
Not long ago.
This is it's pretty long ago. It's 30. They're over 30 years now. We're 33 years ago now here. It doesn't feel long.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not old, goddamn.
Yeah.
I swear.
You're sitting here going, yeah, Married with Children's on tonight. That's normal, right?
I remember it. It can't be that long ago.
Can't be that long ago. Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly shit. Meanwhile, we have 20-year-old listeners that are like, oh my God, that was like so long ago. That's how we would
gray belly hair. That's how old you are. Stop it.
That's how we would think of like the late 60s. Like, wow, that was super long before we were born, and people were hippies and stuff, and that was like a flash to then, and so. December 22nd, 1990, as a matter of fact, here. This was right before Christmas, and there's a lot of Christmas involved in this. Well, not really, but this is like the story of this is just the Grinch. This is
opposite of Christmas.
The opposite of a Christmas tale here. Let's talk about some people. Let's start out with K. Tidwell Tide. Tiede? God, I wish I knew how to say this better. Tiede.
That sounds like Tide, right?
It sounds like Tide. We're going to go with Tide. So Kay Tide here, Tidwell Tide. She's 51. Her husband, Rolf, is also 51.
Rolf.
R-O-L-F. Rolf. He's also 51. He came over with his parents. He's an immigrant, so he came with his parents when he was young. Yeah. And he's had a successful business, thriving since 1969 at this point. So he's they're a successful couple. They live in. They don't even live here. They live in Humble, Texas.
Really?
That's Humble, Texas. That's where they're from. Humble. A little humble.
There's no H. It's Humble.
It's Humble, Texas. They
we did a story there, right?
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah. I think that was one of our first ones, as a matter of fact. It was like the sixth. No, that was Hawkins, Texas. I believe.
It was just about a year ago.
We did that one. Yeah, that's right.
Plenty of texts and emails about how you don't pronounce the H. Whatever. It's Humble.
Well,
Texas.
you do in the rest of the world. Just because you don't speak English in Texas, that's not my fucking problem, okay? There's more of us. We're not bending to you, okay? H's are there for a fucking reason. And on that word, which is a goddamn word, pick another word and then make one up and say, you don't pronounce the H on that one. I'll go, okay, sure. I don't care. But humble's a word. Okay. Sorry. Can't take it anymore with these people and their pronunciations. I can't do it.
Call your place gonorrhea if you don't want to pronounce the H.
Somebody tried to correct me about like a biblical pronunciation from the show last week, and I went, I don't fucking care. What are you talking about? Who cares? It has nothing to do with the story or the murder. Why would you type that? Like, what would make a person type that? You got to have other shit to do that's better than typing something that no one cares about. Why would you do it? Why don't you just open up your window and yell it to the woods? It's the same thing. I'll hear it.
Keep the window closed. Say it to the wall and then move on.
Remember in the In-Betweeners when he says, you should put that in the suggestion box. The principal says to Will, and he goes, where is it? And he goes, any bin? Any receptacle you find, just ball it up and throw it in there. I'll be sure to find it.
Any bin.
So, hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
They have 2 daughters, by the way. Lene Tide, who's 20, and Trisha, who is 17 at the time. And they're going away for a wonderful, idyllic... Texas isn't like the most Christmassy place because it's a desert, basically. Right. But Utah and the mountains up here, this is Christmas, man. I mean, they're going up to a beautiful cabin that they own up here in Oakley, and they're going to spend the holidays there as a big extended family. Other people are coming. Grandma's coming.
They're inviting family too.
They're gonna have it's Christmas vacation meets the Grinch. This is, and they're
Destination Griswolds.
Yeah,
this is
Destination Griswolds. They have their Utah National Lampoon's Utah Vacation. This says they have all their presents there and the tree set up and everything else. They have a camcorder and they're recording themselves wrapping presents and laughing and having fun. And this is like what we would have dreamt of being a family was like when we were little. Like, oh, I bet that's what good families do. You know, like
James, I watched Three Ninjas and was jealous.
Yeah, no shit.
They had their own rooms with clean carpet.
That's pretty badass.
House. It was awesome.
Yeah, their life was amazing. Are you kidding me?
It really was.
I would have killed to be one of the Three Ninja people.
Watching that movie, I was like, I know what that house smells like, and I want it.
I know, I want it so bad. That
so
pantry has so many snacks in it. So many. There's like multiple things of Chips Ahoy in there.
Yeah.
There's so many Chips Ahoy. You have Chips Ahoy and Oreos in that house.
And different textures of it, dry and soft.
Chewy. You got the chewy. So the 22nd, the ladies, they had all spent the night, I guess, away from the cabin at a relative's house, and then they were coming back, and then they were doing some Christmas shopping, and then coming back to the cabin. Everybody was doing all right. So, and then people were kind of rolling in from there. Cousins were going to show up, that sort of thing. But this is the main family who owns it, and so the night before or 2 nights before, they have the video camera out, and there's a tape of them laughing and joking and wrapping presents and stuff like that. So here comes Grandma as well, Beth Harmon Tidwell Potts.
Oh.
That is Kay's mom. That's Mom's mom here. Yeah, she is 72 years old, partially blind, doesn't get around real well, but has a lot of energy and good spirit and has all of her faculties and everything like that. But can't see or move real well, though. That's,
She's fun.
She holds on to your arm when you walk somewhere with her. She'll put it that way. So they're all here on a big extended vacation, and they said that their family owns this cabin, and this is Lene will later say this. The sound of the river, the horses that are down in the pasture, the birds, it's absolutely heaven on earth to me. She said, my mom had given it a name, Tide's Tranquility.
It's got a name.
It's got a name. I have pictures. I'll post pictures on social media of outside the cabin. You're like, oh, my God, this place is like... It's incredible. It's incredible. She said because of the serenity and the peace. They said the cabin was an awesome place to go. They used to go up there all the time, and aunts and uncles and cousins would come, and it would be a big, have a good time. Said it was about 2.5 miles off the road, and you'd have to use a snowmobile during the winter to get there.
Have to.
Oh, it snows like a bastard up here, so it's definitely snow. It's amazing. And it gets below zero here as well, as we'll talk about. So Lene, Kay, and Grandma Beth all show up. There's nobody else at the cabin. They show up. They were spent the night away from the cabin, and they're showing up to go back to the cabin and get ready for the night. And they're all going to hang out, and they're going to be there for the next few days, and some people are coming. They were in Salt Lake City the night before with other relatives. Mm-hmm. What a nice family this is. The whole family's doing great. Yeah. So they come up to the cabin. They roll up, and as they're coming up to the cabin, the Lene says, my hands were freezing because they had to come 2.5 miles from the road. Right. So you get really cold. It's super cold. She said it was a bitter cold winter that year. I asked my mom to hurry and unlock the door. I needed to run in and run my hands under some water, and I would be right back down to help her. Okay. So they had some shit outside to carry in, but she said, got to thaw them out, got to run them under some cold water here to thaw them.
It is crazy how when your hands get that cold, once they do warm up, then they're like on fire. They hurt so bad.
Yeah, so you got to run them under cold water and not hot water, or else it really fucks them all up. It's not good. That's bad.
Gradually warm it.
Yeah, gradually you can. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She says, I got to the top of the stair, meaning to steps, go in. Yeah. She said, and I saw a gray flash go behind the refrigerator. Huh. She said, and the first thought that popped in my mind was, a cousin's already here. Okay. And that they were going to jump out and say, boo. You know what I'm saying? Right. Hey, look at that. Hey, we're here. Good to see you. And hugs and kisses and hot cocoa for all. And she says it didn't turn out that way, though.
No.
She says, behind the refrigerator came a frizzy-headed man in a gray sweatshirt with his pistol pointed at me. That's not idyllic or holiday. No. This was a Hallmark movie, and it just got real different, real
grim.
It got real grim. The shiny couple just walked in from going to the town square and seeing everybody and eating gingerbread horse shit, and then now they have a gun in their face, and there's some scraggly dude here. He said, a frizzy-headed man in a gray sweatshirt with his pistol pointed at me. I assumed that he would just want to rob us and be on his way. Right. As soon as my mom came to the top of the stairs out from the back bedroom, another robber with really thick Coke bottle glasses on was pointing a gun at my mother. So there's two robbers, and they're coming from two different parts of the house with guns, pushing everybody into the center here. So these two people, let's find out who they've encountered, because this is a nightmare. This idyllic middle of nowhere thing is what you want, except if two people with guns break in and then there's no one around to help you for a long way.
Right.
So this is
you and your mother and your grandma and only you.
That's it.
Boy.
It's a 20-year-old mom and partially blind, not moving real well, 72-year-old grandma. So
Jesus.
This is not exactly a fighting force to,
This is not the Three Ninjas.
No, this is definitely not. If her grandma started making ninja moves, though, I think it would probably scare the guys away. They'd probably be like, damn, what the fuck is... Imagine what the 20-year-old can do. Jesus, run. Yeah. So the two men in the house are Von Lester Hayes. Von is his first name, Lester. Yeah. I'm not Hayes, Taylor. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Von Lester Taylor. I was looking at something else. Yes, exactly. Von Lester Taylor. Also, I have it. Never mind. I saw an H somewhere else, and there we go. He's 25 years old, Von Lester Taylor. And his buddy here, the other guy, he's the frizzy-haired guy behind the fridge. Mm-hmm. The other guy is Edward Stephen Deli. He is D-L-E-I, like going to a deli.
D-E-L-I.
D-E-L-I. Going to the deli. He's 21 years old, Edward Stephen Deli. Now, who the fuck are these lunatics? They are what would be called they're walk-away escapees.
Oh, no.
Not full escapees, walkaways. They were at a halfway house after both being paroled from prison.
Yeah.
They were at a halfway house, and one day on December 14th, they just went out in the morning for routine job search like they're supposed to do and just never came back. Never came back. This was the Orange Street Correctional Facility here.
Adding more to the whole nightmare situation. This is like what the court systems. This is their nightmare.
This is everybody's
nightmare.
And it's 3 days before Christmas, so let's make it even worse. You can add jingle bells in the background of all of this. Shit. You can add Bing Crosby softly crooning over all of this shit that I'm going to tell you now.
Here's one of the scary ghost stories that we're going to tell.
Yeah,
Jesus
this is a
Christ.
scary ghost story. I would say so. This is terrifying. So Taylor had been serving a 1 to 15-year term, which is a big span. That's a lot. Anywhere
It's either very short or extremely
anywhere
annoying.
from 1 to, 15. So something between stealing a car and killing a guy. One somewhere in there. We think it is. So he's serving that for aggravated burglary, while Deli was on a 0 to 5-year sentence. Utah is just real willy-nilly.
Very willy-nilly with the window that we're going to give them.
I guess they give the parole board a lot of leeway to hang on to people or let the, I don't know.
Really trust in the system there.
Yeah, he's in for arson. So
Okay.
he seems like a real sweetheart right there.
As long as nobody got hurt, I mean, whatever. But
Yeah, maybe
the other one,
he just-
and we're
I don't know.
and we're doing exactly what old boy was put in for anyway. Tonight,
Aggravated
this is not
burglary.
good.
Yeah, except it's not because they weren't just there robbing the house and trying to get out and came upon. They were waiting for these people, as we'll talk about.
Oh no.
They made themselves quite comfortable. Wait till we talk all about it. It's fucking bonkers. Taylor was paroled. Von Lester Taylor was paroled October 23rd and moved to the Ogden Community Corrections Center. He stayed there till November 23rd when he was transferred to the Orange Street halfway house. So he was released on the 14th to look for a job, never came back. Now, they tried to revoke his parole while he was at the original halfway house. Originally, they tried to revoke his parole. Corrections officers tried to revoke it because they learned he'd been seen in a gun store in Ogden while in a halfway house on parole. So you have no business being
Right. Where are
near
you
a gun
going to
store.
store that if you do buy it?
How you going to? Yeah, it's not good. So when they went to the parole board, though, the Board of Pardons found insufficient evidence to return Taylor to prison. They said they transferred him instead from an Ogden halfway house to a Salt Lake City halfway house. They just transferred him to Salt Lake City instead. And that's where he met Edward Stephen Deli there.
Nice.
So rather than sending him back to prison for going to a gun store, they said you can't just do that. They said the board ruled that there was not sufficient probable cause to justify issuance of a warrant. From the information we had, he was not in possession of a weapon. Someone saw him in a gun store, saw him in a store at a gun case looking at guns. In itself, that's not sufficient.
Yeah.
That's not a parole violation.
If it's a gun store, that should be.
That's-
if it's just like Walmart and he wandered by the
yeah.
rifles and he's looking at the 30-06.
If there's a sporting goods store and he happened to wander into that section, then you can't.
Right.
But if he tried to buy one, that would be a
Right.
problem, I would think.
Sure.
But now Deli, on the other hand, Deli was paroled November 27th and went directly to Orange Street there. So immediately there. He also, on the 14th, failed to return. They took off together. They said, quote, they were both placed on walkaway status and fugitive warrants were issued, but that's not a high profile item, but it's not something you'd overlook if you ran into them. So they're not out actively searching for these guys.
Right. But
'Cause
if they have police involved,
Yeah.
and they're certainly arrested.
One of them gets pulled over, they're definitely going back. But other than that, they're not like have an active, hunt for these guys. Where are they? So they said that acquaintances of Deli, there's not a lot of information on Deli. He's only 21, and his life in the last 3 years has been very strange. He's gone major extreme swing, but that's all we really know about him here. His friend called him a man who was running from himself. I don't know. That's a real cryptic way to put something. I'm not sure exactly what he fucking means there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could mean a lot of things.
Specify, sir.
He's a man who's running from himself. Huh.
Why are you
Okay.
such a poet tonight? Just tell us what's wrong with the
All right.
guy.
Hey, that's deep and all, bro, but can you
like your like your synopsis, Shiloh.
how about characteristics, maybe, something like that. Thank you, Robert Frost, but maybe if we just, lighten up
Maybe
a little
tell
bit.
us what he did. Give us a specific.
He said he joined the Mormon church. So he wasn't a Mormon originally. Doesn't come from a Mormon family, but he joined the church and an all-Mormon fraternity at the University of Utah. So a year and a half before we are right where we are, he was at the University of Utah in an all-Mormon fraternity.
And then he started setting fires.
And then he was arrested in 1989 on arson charges, and obviously that all went to shit, dropped out of college, and next thing you know, he's holding a gun on 3 generations of a fucking family.
In a cabin
at
in Oakley.
their Christmas cabin. So that is a huge swing in personality there. Now,
yeah, I would say so.
Vaughn is a whole other case. He's pretty fucked up, Vaughn. Vaughn, his father, Thomas, said that about his childhood that he was convicted of aggravated robbery, and his dad was especially upset because the gun he used in the robbery was a family gun. He took it from the house. It was
you're not going to get it back, and now you're upset about that?
Yeah, he's upset that he would take the family gun to do a robbery. That's just, you know what? That's just lower than low. You know, I thought you was low, boy, but that's lower.
We all know that.
Yeah, you take a throwaway, toss it in the river. What the fuck's wrong with you? I teach you nothing, boy. Jesus
Family
Christ!
Heirloom. Now it's evidence forever.
God damn it! We're watching Goodfellas again. Sit your ass down. I'm gonna teach you some stuff, boy. Tell you something. That's right. They're building condos, so you got to dig them bodies up. That's how it works. They ain't going to be found now. So,
oh, no.
His father was devastated to learn of the robbery that happened. He said it was just devastated. He said Vaughn always kind of liked to be left alone. When he worked, he was a good worker. He didn't want to go back to prison. He hated it. He looked forward to going to school, getting his life together, and being an asset to society. Well, he's going about it.
Asset of society.
Yeah, I would say so. He's going about it in a very strange way right now.
Yes.
So, in addition to this, they say that he had some brain damage as well. That we'll get into the many instances of his brain being damaged. He's like a professional boxer at this point. They're like an NFL quarterback. He's got so many.
Never played a day of athletics in his life.
Not a down in his life. They said he had some mental health problems that started surfacing about 1989. In 1989, his sister Kay sent a letter to a Washington County judge expressing grave concerns about her brother's mental health. This is before all of this, obviously, is in his aggravated robbery sentence. She first observed the traits at an early age, describing her brother as either depressed or paranoid, a loner, a person who did not fit in, and suggested the need for psychiatric intervention. So she's like, listen, my brother's always been mad fucked up. Maybe he needs help. She also described a history of alcohol abuse beginning in junior high school.
Yeah, that's an indicator of some severe mental issues.
Yeah, well, he's got underlying problems, obviously.
Some insecurities there, for sure.
Trying to drown that shit. Mm-hmm. His father, Vaughn's father, also sent a letter to the Washington County judge explaining that Vaughn never graduated from high school, had difficulty holding a job, and experienced, quote, psychological problems as a result of a prior accident that left a big facial scar.
Oh, shit.
His brother here told diagnostic investigator Robin Williams, not that Robin Williams, that Vaughn had some pretty serious mood swings and also described a prior suicide attempt that Vaughn had. Mm-hmm. Okay, Taylor has evidence of head injuries and exposure to an overwhelming amount of farm chemicals as well. So they think he is just...
He's a farm boy.
Brain damage through and through here.
Accident-prone farm boys don't last long.
No. They end up head first in a thresher. You know what I mean? It's whoop! Oh, there goes his feet kicking. Oh, there he goes. I knew it would happen at some time. He wouldn't. His boy was accident-prone.
Ends up with just feet hanging out of a hay bale somewhere.
He's all bailed in. Just a pair of fucking Nikes sticking out. So he suffered his first head injury when he was 2 years old in 1967 after falling down a flight of stairs and had to be hospitalized for that.
Oh, my God.
So that's then. Then when he was 12, 1977, he suffered a severe facial injury when an aerosol can exploded in a campfire, embedding shrapnel into his face and arm.
There's a lot of questions I have.
I was just going to say, I don't know whether to start with who the fuck wasn't an adult to say, don't put that in there. Jesus Christ. Number one.
Who gave a child an aerosol can within proximity at all of a fucking open flame?
It exploded, which will happen. They tell you, keep away from open flames.
Says it right on the side.
I mean, there's
a
bunch of warnings. Even in 1990, there are even in the 70s, I think that was the one warning. Don't put near fire or you're an idiot. It will explode and leave shrapnel embedded into your face and arm. So
it hit him in the face.
Blew up in his face. Lucky it didn't take his eye out, but that left the big scar. In 1979, he was hospitalized after being thrown from a pickup truck in a rollover accident. He was 14.
In the bed, likely.
Guarantee you he was in the bed. I'm sure he was. Whoopsie.
Or on the roof.
Yeah. Surfboarding it like Styles from Teen Wolf.
Wolfed it, yeah.
You know he did. In April 8th, 1983, he crashed his motorcycle and was again hospitalized. Would you give this guy a motorcycle?
No.
No, you are not stable. No, you're accident prone as shit.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere near. We're going to get you like a Volvo. We're going to put like cushions on the outside.
It started with you can't operate stairs. No.
Yeah, you're not getting a motorcycle. Well, he didn't have it long, apparently. April 8th, 83, crashed his motorcycle, hospitalized again. In elementary school, to turn back the clock a little bit on him, he was standing upright in a plastic saucer while being pulled along the sidewalk. Like those snow things, like Jesus. Clark Griswold went down.
And he's standing in it.
He's standing in it, which, again, dumb thing that kids do. He fell face first, landing on his forehead, causing a, quote, doorknob-sized bump on his forehead, according to medical records. That can't be good.
We call that a goose egg. Yeah.
A big one. In 1989, while in Utah State Prison, he hit his head on a metal stairwell. He is a mess.
He never learned to operate stairs.
Never.
All the way up until he was old enough to go to jail, he can't operate.
He still can't do it. He's in prison. I can rob people, but I can't operate steps. He, after that, suffered from migraine headaches as well and was taking medication on and off for the migraines from
The man doesn't put his hands down when he falls, James. No, he doesn't break his own fall.
Every fall is directly to the dome piece. I don't understand what he's doing.
He leads with his forehead and everything.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to break my wrist. I'll just use my forehead to break my fall. Who are you?
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. And during the 70s and 80s, he spent his summers working on the family farm in Idaho and was repeatedly exposed to pesticides and other farm chemicals. And apparently he got too close to chemicals he wasn't supposed to get so close to.
Of course he did.
I feel like supervision is an issue here. If there's aerosol cans exploding in kids' faces at the same time they're overexposing themselves to farm chemicals, I feel like maybe keep an eye on that kid better. That might be the solution.
From 2, he's tumbling downstairs, you guys. This is
a mess.
Where's Mom? Jeez, where's Dad? Where's anybody?
I don't give a shit. Is there a neighbor nearby? Where's the local pedophile? At least he'll keep him alive. I don't care at this point. He's fucking gonna die. Someone keep an eye on him.
I'm
not saying to touch him,
you guys.
Yeah, I don't want the pedophile to touch him. I'm saying he'll watch him. Oh, hey, look at that over there. Fine.
Keep an eye on him.
If he falls down some steps, he can call 911. You know what I mean?
He might not.
No, he'd probably go over and just take his prone carcass and. No good.
Ooh, he's not alert.
Oh, boy, look at this. Yeah, perfect. Got it. Yes. He's like fucking real weird. We just made the weirdest pedophile ever. Yes.
Voiced by...
Yeah, brother. Hulk Hogan.
Well, him or the guy from NBA. What was his name? Yes. That guy.
Oh, Marv Albert. Yes.
Marv Albert.
That would be amazing. Yes. So... his family members recall the use of chemicals in controlling insects, various poisons used to control rodents, gophers, and use of fertilizers. Who knows if he was eating this shit? He's an idiot, this guy.
He's huffing it.
Yeah, these various chemicals were applied by hand spray and crop duster. At times, Jesus Christ, at times Von Taylor was standing under the crop duster as it sprayed chemicals upon the field. Wow. What the fuck are you doing? Come in, supervision. You shouldn't stand under there while they spray poison on it, you dumb fuck. Get inside. Holy shit, this kid is
killing aphids, for Christ's sake.
Wow, if you see bugs falling from the sky, that's a bad sign. Go inside.
Just out there with his arms out spinning around.
Yeah.
The hills are alive.
Yeah, he's like, I love the rain. Mouth
The
open.
hills are alive with pesticide.
Pesticide. Mouth wide open, taking it in. Tongue landed on his tongue. Other times, if that's not enough poison. At other times, he had direct contact with chemicals when they were sprayed by hand or while changing the sprinkler heads immediately after spraying. Jesus. Von Taylor's sisters recall suffering from headaches and nausea after pesticides were sprayed onto the field. Yeah, because it's poison.
Right.
Additionally, you add in a significant history of substance abuse and alcoholism in both his maternal and paternal families as well,
Of course,
which he's got all of that. He loves drugs and booze. He loves it all. His father was an alcoholic who died of cirrhosis of the liver, or his grandfather was. Okay. Mrs. Taylor, also, the other side, his mom, history of alcoholism and depression. 4 of his father's brothers, so 4 of his uncles have been treated for alcoholism, drug abuse, and mental health problems. One of the brothers, who Vaughn was very close to, in the late 1980s, is completely disabled because of alcohol, drugs, and mental health problems. Mm-hmm. He receives Social Security benefits and can't work and all that sort of thing. Stephen himself, Vaughn Stevens' alcohol, drug use, and mental issues were known when he went to jail in '89 and are even mentioned in reports from then. Mm-hmm. There's his older brother, John, was placed in an inpatient psychiatric unit for mental health problems and alcoholism around that time as well.
Right.
This family, these
It's
genes
almost
didn't
like,
go
James,
together. Everything's nothing's good here. Nothing is working out.
It's almost like that farm living is really hard, and you sometimes drink to forget it.
It seems like I don't think they're using poisons correctly. I feel like
That
all
too,
these people are like laden with pesticides and their brains are fucking riddled with it. I don't even know if this is
And it
mental
doesn't
health
help
issues or poison.
It doesn't help that they're not careful even in day-to-day life and take a flaming, exploding aerosol can to the face.
and you can't navigate steps. So his brother had been on, Vaughn, his brother was placed on Zoloft and Wellbutrin and shit like that. Yeah. His other older brother had undergone inpatient alcohol and mental health treatment at the LDS Dayspring program. Mm-hmm. He is an admitted alcoholic who suffers from clinical depression. His sister, Cheryl, also treated for clinical depression and panic disorder, takes Zoloft, Trazodone, and Paxil altogether, and is also obsessive compulsive. So,
oh, she's a party.
Everyone in this, there's not one person in this family who doesn't have a lot of problems. And everybody has problems, but they have like 6, 7 of them all together at the same time. And it's everybody. It's like clearly the genes weren't mixing correctly. Mm-hmm. His other sister, that's why they have to have 9 kids too. How many fucking kids do you have?
We're all trying to have one that works.
We're all fucked up. We make kids that are all fucked up too. Let's have 9. Okay. Wow.
This one doesn't work either. Let's try again.
Jesus. His other sister, Sana, had been treated for clinical depression and takes various medications as well. So, I mean, there's his whole family's there's mental health issues and substance abuse in this family. He began drinking at about 13, 14. He said he drank to become accepted by peers. He was trying to, because that's what you do when you're a teenager. And some people, if you're prone to alcoholism, you take it a different direction. He would drink 3 to 4 beers on weekends. He said, though, when he drank, he became crazy, like immediately. 3, 4 beers, and he's one of those guys.
13? Yeah.
Yeah, but not like drunk, like aggressive and crazy and nuts. There's some people that when alcohol touches their lips, they turn into another person. You're like, who are you? What the fuck? We know a few of those people. We know them. I've seen, God, especially comedians. Good God. You want to see a clown cry on the inside, boy. Woof. Find an alcoholic comedian.
On the inside, it boils to the surface real fast.
And they call me at 2 a.m. and cry on the outside because that happened all the time. Like, Jesus, this is... This is wild.
Oh, no.
We know those people that go batshit, and you're like, wow, you're another human being. Like me and you, we'll go out and have a couple bottles of wine at dinner. We're giggling. We're like arm in arm going down the street giggling like Arthur. You know what I mean? We're just
I can get hammered and have a great time.
Yeah.
You won't
We're
understand
high-fiving
me
and
shit.
We're like, let's get chili dogs. Fuck yeah. That's us when we drink together.
You won't know every word I say, but it's great.
It'll be so much fun, though.
I'm hurting nobody.
Nope. We've had so much fun like that. You know what I mean? So this is not that, though. This guy is a different deal. He quit drinking as a teenager, but then began drinking again after he became depressed after high school, trying to find work.
Imagine having to quit drinking as a teenager.
Drinking's been too much for me. I got to quit, boy. I'll tell you what, my social studies grades are suffering, and that's a problem. I said that's the line. Now, when I cross that, I'm done. So he did that. Now, he couldn't find a job, and so he started drinking more. He started drinking again, had problems with his bills, started doing drugs, too, and getting into all that sort of thing. Just trying to seems like he's trying to numb, I don't know, the pesticide headaches or some shit. I don't know.
Probably everything. There's not much that he's got to really smile about, and I feel awful for him at this point. You know what I mean?
You feel bad right up until now. You know what I mean? Right up until he's got his gun pointed in a daughter, mother, and grandma's faces, and at their Christmas
Jimmie's
cabin
behind a whirlpool, waiting on them to come in. That's not good.
Not cool. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right. Let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, which is
it's great.
Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up. For energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff. And I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options.
Nice.
It's very cool. And you can personalize this portion and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
What they had done after they escaped, quote unquote, from the halfway house, they hitchhiked their way up to this area, Oakley, from Salt Lake, because Taylor had family that owned a cabin in the area. So he's like, I know that area, and it's remote, and, they won't look for us there, and we won't run into any. This is like you have to really look for a cop up there. They're not going to. They're not just cruising around in the middle of the mountains. So they spent several days on the mountain, breaking into a bunch of empty cabins, eating food, sleeping, just using them to eat and sleep and shit like that. That's what we think anyway for now. So we think that they saw the family leave the house the night before and entered the house then and stayed there that night. And were still there the next day when the girls came, or when the women came home at 3:30 in the afternoon. They were still there.
That's the thing about these cabins up there is when you get into them and nobody's been there in a while, you've got to turn shit on. If you see somebody in one, everything's on. The fucking water's going. Yeah. The
generators
water heater's running. There's stoves on. The place is warm. There's
smoke coming out of the chimney. Yeah. It's all going. Now, so these are the two guys that I've just described to you. Now it's even more terrifying knowing that we have a very unstable man. Oh, and Vaughn has been drinking and doing drugs over the course of this period too. So unstable doesn't begin to, describe the situation here with these three women.
And how far into his 1 to 15 is he? Just a year? He got paroled fast?
Yeah, he got paroled fast. And he hates prison, so maybe he was good in prison and then got out. So according to Lene, what happens is Deli seems to be, from what Lene says, seems to be the more vocal one here.
Oh.
Deli ordered them upstairs, all three of them. Get upstairs. So what he does is, she says, Mom was saying to him, what is it you want? Why are you here? I'll give you anything. And Lene said seconds after she said that, gunfire started exploding. It's an explosion, she says. From everywhere, I saw my mom go down. I turned at that point and looked over my shoulder to my Grams.
No.
And saw her get shot in the head. And blood sprayed everywhere, and I heard her gasp for some breath.
What the fuck, man?
Just execute Grandma right to the head. And Mom. Okay? She said, imagine being this girl. You're 20. Mom, Grandma, boom, boom.
After Mom just said, whatever you want, I'll give you whatever you want. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
Begging for this, not for this, obviously.
Yup. She started praying, and Taylor told her to stop, and he said he was a devil worshiper and told her to stop praying. Now, we don't know if that's just to scare her or what. There's no evidence of him ever, of any of that shit at all. That's just, I think he's trying to freak her out. You know what I'm saying? I think he's trying to scare the shit out of her.
Being a dickhead.
I think shooting your mother and your grandmother right in front of you and having their blood and brain matter on a person, probably, I think you got her pretty scared. I don't think you need to do much more to scare her than that. So she said, and then it was just dead silence. I felt pretty certain that they were dead. My thoughts were turned to knowing that within minutes, my dad and sister would be coming too.
Oh, God.
There's going to be more people coming to this party, and there's no way to warn them.
No.
So she goes on to say, I can remember hearing snowmobiles coming in the distance, coming up there, and my heart sinking to my gut, knowing that was my dad and my sister. Holy shit. She said, it felt like slow motion and quick all at once. I can remember the screams and Grams falling off the stool, and my mom reaching over her chest saying, I've been shot. She said Taylor shot her mom. Von Taylor shot her mom in the chest and shot Grandma in the head. That's what she said then. Okay. But there's multiple gunshot wounds, so more happens here. The men then bound up Lene with duct tape and put her in a bedroom. Okay. Yeah. She says, I begged him to let me use the phone. I said I needed to call the hospital and get some help, but they just acted like it was no big deal. They didn't do anything. It was just like another day to them. Yeah. Well, yeah, the point is they're not going to do that and then call the cops on themselves probably. Right. You know what I mean? But she's thinking like a, normal person. Hey, like to help my mom not die. Want to do that?
A person that is not a criminal.
Yeah, a person. Yeah, totally. She said, I started to think and plan ahead. I knew there was a car, and I knew that my dad left the car keys underneath the mat. So she knows where the family car is and where the keys are. I knew that if we got these men out of the cabin and into the car, that my dad and sister would be safe. How do you do that, though? You know what I mean?
She's thinking so rationally.
It's I don't know. She's got to have some kind of clarity here, I guess. I mean,
that's great parenting. Cause
it's amazing.
It's not what I would be thinking.
No, I'd have been freaking out. I don't know.
Thinking about how I'm about to die.
Again, fight or flight. I always, in these situations, I always imagine you have to attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just have to attack.
Yeah.
You have to hope they're not a great shot and attack them. I don't understand. But but I can understand not doing that in the moment too, of being like, I'm a big person. So for me, it's like, well, I could probably reach you and get you maybe, but like.
She's playing chess with these guys, though, thinking about how to get them convinced to take the keys and go.
Yeah, she's thinking maybe I can get him to call the hospital, So, I mean, that's rational. She said, as this noise of the snowmobiles became closer, the man in the gray sweatshirt grabbed me from behind around the neck and put his gun to my back.
Oh, God.
So then Taylor and Deli tells Lene to pack a suitcase so she can leave with them. Not just going to take you. Grab your stuff, though. We don't want you to be uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Several days.
Make sure to bring a change of clothes and all that sort of thing. So, and Lene said this whole time, she said they weren't provoked. The mother and grandmother didn't swear at them or yell at them or anything. Just, what do you want? I'll give you anything you want. So she said it was so crazy. Then she remembered Taylor's comment to Deli following the shooting after they shot the grandmother. Taylor said, I had to shoot this bitch in the head twice, about the grandmother. Yeah. So this all takes, she makes it sound like, because to her, I can't imagine you would be able to know what time is at this point.
Right.
Yeah. Like time is a whole different concept right now. Right. Like, so this all takes place over 2 hours.
Wow.
2 hours of all this. It wasn't immediate. The whole thing wasn't immediate. So they sat there going, what are we going to do now? I guess we'll take her with us. Got her pack a suitcase. So 2 hours later, here comes Dad and Sister Trish. All right. And they arrive at the cabin. They get off the snowmobiles. And as soon as they get off the snowmobiles, a man jumps out from behind the garage with a full ski mask on and a gun. So terrifying. The scariest thing you could think of. And the least expected thing you could think of.
Right.
It's Christmassy up in the cabin.
But up there, a ski mask isn't scary because everybody wears it.
Everybody wears it. But the gun with the ski mask, those two things together.
Starts to get a little scarier.
That's like, oh boy, we're making a puzzle. I'm starting to see the picture now. Starting to see it. Oh boy, it's coming together. I don't like it. And demanded they come inside right away. He said, don't move, don't move, don't move, don't do anything. So 3 don't moves and a don't do anything is what everybody thought. Lene said, once Dad and Trish got inside, Lene's in there. She said, my dad could see the tears in my eyes, and it was an unspoken communication, and he knew at that point that something awful had happened to Mom and Grams. They're up in an upstairs bedroom. He doesn't see them. The men asked Ralph if he had any money. So he reached into his pocket. He pulls out money that he has. It's $105 in cash he's got. Yeah. It's the only cash he's got on him. So Ralph throws it down on the ground. Then the man in the Coke bottle glasses, according to Lene, who is Deli, Deli is told by Vaughn to shoot the guy. Vaughn says, shoot him. So she says, quote, he pulled back the hammer. I heard it, and he refused to fire. He didn't want to do it for some reason now. She said, so then the other man restraining my sister pulled his gun out and pointed it at my dad and pulled the trigger.
God, Jesus.
Once, click, no fire.
Oh?
Twice, click, no fire.
Oh, God, the suspense.
And then a third one, it went off. She said the blast was so close I could feel it.
Oh, God.
Okay, so Rolf, by the way, also after they took his wallet, they had him take off all of his snow gear. So he's just in, he has no shoes, he's barefoot, T-shirt, minimal clothing here. You know what I mean? By the way, as well. So Rolf goes down on the ground. Yeah. He's lying down on his face. And once he's on the ground, they go over and shoot him again in the head.
Oh, God.
Okay, just to make sure. Then the guys say, well, we're taking this girl too now because the 17-year-old's there. They got a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old. We're taking them to be used as shields in case the cops get us. So
no.
You need a hostage to move behind. We each have to have one. So here we go. What's better than two pretty blonde girls? Let's get it on, fuckers. Yeah. That's what they are, too. They're both pretty blonde girls. So they're not going to shoot them, you know. Right. So, Jesus Christ. So Rolf's been shot twice. At this point, Deli grabs a bunch of snowmobile fuel, starts going around the cabin.
Oh, shit.
Going in the corners, pouring gasoline out in the garage, pouring gasoline all in places that would start fires. And you know, where the wall meets the floor, in the corners, places like that. Goes over to Rolf, pours it on all over his, from his middle of his torso down, douses him in gasoline too, makes sure he'll go up in flames as well. Okay? So this is what happens now. The girls are begging for their release. They're saying, please, just let us go. Gee, you fucking killed our whole family. Please, you know, you've ruined Christmas. Can we say that?
It's over. Yeah.
If they remake The Grinch, this is before they did, this has to be a scene because the Grinch goes up into a cabin and murders a whole fucking family and then kidnaps the daughters is pretty Grinchy, I would say. Yeah. So, holy shit. But Deli said, you've seen what we look like. We either have to take you with us or kill you. So the girls are like, what time are we leaving? Sounds great. Can't wait to get in the car.
Is there a boarding?
Yeah.
Is there a check-in? What time do we go?
Yeah, he essentially tried to, acted like he was giving them the choice, but he was taking them either way because they're hostages they need. Right. So, but he was trying to get them to cooperate that way. Mm-hmm. So, oh, fuck. All right. So they're going to leave on snowmobiles.
Yep.
The funny part is Assistant County Attorney Terry Christensen had run into these guys several times over the last few days. He would say later, quote, I helped Deli get his three-wheeler unstuck on several occasions over the past week.
He's been getting this thing stuck all week.
All week, his own. So Trish and Lene described the scene like this. This is them pouring gasoline. Quote, they immediately got busy doing things. Lene said they poured gasoline everywhere and set the cabin on fire. So they set all these places on fire. She said, I can remember hearing the smoke alarms going off as the fire was already blazing in the cabin. So Trish said there was this sense of urgency to get out of there. Well, yeah, it's on fire, literally. Right, yeah. They began, wow. I can't imagine what these girls are going through right now.
The panic is
unbelievable.
Yeah.
This is everybody. Well, you can't even mourn everybody's dead in your whole family, and you got to think about how to survive. You can't think about that right now.
3 to 4 hours into this ordeal.
Oh yeah. No, this is 3 hours in. I mean, this is terrifying. So, she said they began telling us we got to hurry and load the snowmobiles and get out of here. I had this feeling inside of me that we needed to listen and do what they said until the moment came to where Lene and I could make our escape. Right. So Lene says, my sister and I drove these awful men on the snowmobiles out of the cabin. The girls drove. The guys are shit at they're better at navigating and they know where they're going. So
and also if you drive, then they're on the back. They can just ditch. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Run through the woods or something.
They can jump off. But
you make them drive. Yeah. They've got a responsibility.
Yeah. You see this all the time in a movie when a guy drive and he'll put the gun to the person. They have to drive. What are they going to do? So they're doing this. She said, I drove one man behind me and my sister drove the other man behind her. Then Trish said, I had all kinds of different plans of how to wreck the snowmobile, how to throw him off into a tree, how to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Smart. But all I could think was I couldn't leave my sister. Because if I do that, then this guy's going to pull his gun on my sister. And what the fuck? Then she's screwed. So Lene said, I can remember wanting to stay close enough that I could still see my sister, that I felt a sense of security knowing that she was still there. So Trish says there was no one to help us. There was nowhere to go. We were in the middle of the mountains on snowmobiles. Where the fuck are you going to do? So her sister said we headed up to the main gate and saw my Uncle Randy, who was coming to the cabin.
Oh, God.
I just picture Randy Quaid and Cousin Eddie, and I just picture him, this robe open, his boxer shorts on, dumping sewage into the thing, going, hi, how y'all doing? Clark, is that you? This fucking, Rolf, is that you?
That is a beaut, Clark.
That sure is a beaut snowmobile, Clark. She is a beaut. Randy Zorn is his name, Uncle Randy. So he's by the gate on the main road. He just arrived for the holiday visit. He's there for the festivities.
Oh, God.
When he sees the sisters fly by him on snowmobiles. Mm-hmm. And he waved, but the girls ignored him.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to act like they knew him, so the guys would shoot him too. So they were pretended it was some sort of neighbor or something, inconsequential. So Randy says, quote, "I seen the snowmobiles come up the trail," and I'm reading word for word. This isn't, I'm not making him more country. "I seen the snowmobiles come up the trail, 2 snowmobiles, and I go, look, there are my nieces. I knew it was the girls with 2 people on the back, and I go, wow, they got boyfriends." And what else would you think? I don't know. I'm coming up for a visit. I haven't seen these kids since last Christmas. Who knows?
That's a terrific thing, though. That's
shit.
Hope.
Well, he says, quote, "I walked over and tried to greet them and say hi, and I waved my hands in there, and they just drove by me, and I go, that's weird. That's not my nieces. They don't do that to me. Like, maybe I mistake.
Oh, God, yeah.
Maybe it's their friends. Maybe they brought friends. Who knows? I don't know." So Trish said, "I saw my uncle. My uncle had pulled up, and he waved at us. We just kind of looked at him and turned back. And the man said, 'Who was that?' The men behind them said, 'Who was that?' And somebody that must live up here being nice," is what they replied. I don't know, somebody who lives up here, who knows, probably just we're going around for the holidays, who cares?
You know how you just murdered people and burnt? That's not typically how people behave up here.
This is the opposite.
Nice. Yeah.
He's got cookies probably rather than guns. So
his wife baked something.
Yeah, and by the way, the guns they're holding is a 44 is what Deli has.
Oh, boy. Big
and
revolver.
A 38, a snub-nosed 38 is what Von Taylor has.
Revolvers, yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are big calibers. Those are no fuck-arounds there. So Trish went on to say, "I knew his life could be in danger, Uncle Randy. If I knew if these men knew Randy was our uncle, they would have probably killed him." So she said at a nearby parking lot, then they forced the girls off the snowmobiles and into the family car. That's what they did. They went off. They ditched the snowmobiles, get into the car. She said when we reached the family car, they had 2 guns. Each of them had a gun. The dark-headed man loaded his gun in the trunk, like put it back there. And as he loaded his gun in the trunk, he pulled his jacket open and he had a knife. And he looks at me and goes, "Don't worry, I'm just as good with a knife as I am with a gun."
Oh boy!
So don't think you're gonna doing that.
Right.
So they get in the car and pull away. It's a Lincoln, by the way. The car, big old Lincoln. Back in '90, there is no small Lincolns in 1990. They're all big.
It's a good sized car.
Yeah. So the car drives past their uncle. As their uncle was trying to go catch up to him, to talk to him, the car drives by them. What the fuck?
If you didn't think it was us then, it's certainly us now.
It's now our car.
Yeah.
And Randy said, "And then I seen the Lincoln come out across the street." And I go, "Well, there they are again."
Yeah.
Jesus. It's Cousin Eddie mixed with Ernest, mixed with fucking Jim Varney. He said, "I was walking up to the car and they were pulling out. And I was actually looking in the back, and I think I seen Lene in the back." And Randy said, "And I waved my hands again, and I go, 'Stop!'" Lene said, "I knew that if I were to call out or plead for help or act like we knew Randy, that Randy would be shot as well. So he was waving his arms, and my sister and I just pretended we didn't know who he was."
Brilliant.
Smart. I mean, that's good of them. So Randy goes, "The car just drove right by me."
Yeah.
I knew something was wrong then. I didn't think it was a minute, and I seen another snowmobile come up with this person on it. And I look and I go, he has no coat on, no gloves, no helmet, no shoes.
No
shits. By the way, it's 20 below zero.
Dad is on a snowmobile shot in the head.
And I go, "Who is this?" I go, "Oh my God, it's my brother Ralph."
What the fuck? That's the toughest man alive.
Wait till you hear what he did. It gets better.
My God.
He says, and his face is just huge and full of blood and just big. He's been shot twice in it. Yes, it's big.
Right. Yeah.
Eyes swollen shut, blood sickles because it was cold.
Oh, Jesus.
He was in real bad, but that might have helped stop the bleeding, actually.
Yeah.
That might have frozen. Might have slowed it. He was in really bad shape, and he says, I've been shot, my wife has been killed, and my daughters have been kidnapped. Mm-hmm. No mention of the mother-in-law, you notice, in there.
Not a fan.
At the end, he was like, oh, my mother-in-law's dead too, yeah. But really, we need to concentrate on the other things.
Sir, you've been shot. That's for fuck sure. Let's get you a doctor.
Twice. Well, we'll go back to Randy here. Randy said, I start heading down the canyon as fast as I could. I'm in panic. Rolf's in the back full of blood lying on the back seat. 20 years ago, because he's talking in 2010, he says about 1990, your cell service didn't work up there. He had a cell phone, actually.
Right.
And he said, whatsoever, in that canyon. And I kept trying and trying and trying, and there are two things on my mind. Save the girls and get him on a life flight. That's a lot. You thought you got out of the car. I'm partying up in the cabin this weekend. This is going to be great. Next thing you know, you're in a race for your brother's life while chasing down your kidnapped nieces. This has gone way crazy in 5 minutes.
This
Holy
into
shit.
A James Bond movie.
That's what I mean. This has turned into an action movie. So the temperature's, like I said, 20 below zero. It's absolutely insane. So he's still chasing this guy. So now back to the murderers and what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're driving with the girls to the with the car, and they proceeded from on a highway 189. And Randy ends up coming up behind him. Uncle Randy on the case. He's right.
You caught him?
You
caught
can
up
hear
to him.
By accident. He just was going that way, trying to get down the hill. You can hear Dukes of Hazzard music playing as he comes up behind him. There's dirt clouds spraying everywhere. Here's what Randy has to say. I come up to the back of the Lincoln. I know the girls are kidnapped. I know the guys have got guns in the car there. You know, I'm going, what do? Do I run them off the road?
No, you don't.
And then at that moment, my mobile kicked in. He got a signal right then. I got 911 on my mobile, and she says, tell me what direction they're going. We got police. We got people in the area. I go, well, they're turning on the road. They're toward Camus? I don't fucking know what that town that is.
Caymus?
Yeah, don't really care either, everybody. Yeah. I go, I need a helicopter, and the phone went dead. I pulled
helicopter.
I need a life flight for him. He's shot in the face.
Got it.
I follow him with a helicopter. One of them Blackhawks too, making something impressive.
Give me a Huey. I don't care. I'll chase him.
I'll pay for it, whatever it costs. He said, I pulled into the gas station, went over to the payphone, and got 911 back on the phone again. And I go, guys, I need a helicopter now. So he called the cops. Now back in the car, Trish says, we notice a cop car pass us and turn around fast and begin to follow us. Both men began to panic. I remember looking, the speedometer's going over 90 miles an hour.
She's running 90 in a Lincoln. Doesn't feel like it. Not in a Lincoln.
I mean, it's smooth, though. You feel that? Them bumps just feel like you're riding on a cloud, don't they?
Real pillows.
Real pillows. So that happens. She says, we turned right down toward the canyon and went another mile or so and then fell. The car fell and off an embankment. So they kind of fell off to the side of the road in a little ditch there. I remember looking up because the car was at an angle and noticing the entire road above us we came down was full of maybe a couple of cops, but mostly people in common clothes drawn down with pistols and shotguns and rifles at us.
Oh, street.
The whole fucking mountain.
Neighborhood?
Everybody heard. Everybody came out of their houses with their shotguns and pistols and their robes and shit to attend to the situation.
Bunny slippers and a fucking 12 gauge.
Fucking wild, right? And I remember how amazed I was that there were so many people there so fast. Lene said there was cops pointing guns at me, and my little sister says, no, that's my sister. And I don't think they'd received information that there was even hostages in the car. Right. They didn't know what was going on. They thought they were just all together. Mm-hmm. So Trish says, I reached back for my sister's hand and grabbed her hand and said, duck. Lene said, we both ducked and we were praying and just squeezing each other's hand. We've always had a connection, even as little children, a special connection. We can feel each other. She's always been a great comfort for me. Well, why were they ducking? Because when they hopped out of the car, Deli had his gun
pointed at them.
Deli had his gun aimed at Deputy Coleman here, so another cop, an Officer Fowers, showed up and started bucking shots off in his direction. Bucking toward all four of them.
Good God.
So that's why the girl said duck, because there was bullets flying around.
Yeah.
And then after the shots went off, that's when Deli didn't get hit, but he got the shit scared out of him, threw his gun to the ground, and surrendered.
Yeah.
So both the guys surrender at that point.
Okay.
Lene said the men were down on their knees with their arms behind their neck, and the cops were, telling them, yelling at them, telling them to get down and surrender. And I started yelling at the cops to kill them. I said, kill them. They just killed my mom and dad and Grams. Kill them. Shoot them now. Kill them. So Trish said, I remember feeling of not necessarily being safe, but I've survived. We're no longer in the custody of those evil men. And Randy Zorn said the helicopter showed up pretty quick, actually, and they got Rolf out of there, out of the back of my Blazer, and got him into care, and he was in pretty bad shape, critical condition. When it lifted off, I'm just praying that he makes it. So Trish said, I can't imagine what had to be going through Dad's head after he'd been shot and then shot again. Bullets are going through his head.
Two of them.
Then he's laying there, playing dead, trying to breathe as shallow as possible. Here's what he did. You want to know how he got out of there?
More than anything.
They left. Once he heard the snowmobiles pulled away, he popped up, okay? Yeah. One of the shots was bird shot they hit him with.
Oh, shit, lucky.
So he got lucky, all right? So he only has one bullet and one bird shot, so he's doing a little better than he could have been. But he's still fucked up, bleeding everywhere. And he's doused, he's fully soaked in gasoline.
Yeah, all right.
As he gets up and tries to leave, he catches on fire from all the fire around the cabin, so he goes up like a fucking candle. Yeah. So this man is now walking around with bullets in his face on fire, all right? He runs to the shower to fucking douse himself with water to put his fire out, then stumbles outside with a face wound, was just on fire, gunshot wounds to the face, T-shirt, no helmet, gloves, sleeves, or shoes on, gets on a fucking snowmobile.
And rides 2 miles.
Rides 2 miles through negative 20-degree weather with blood sickles hanging off of him to rescue his kidnapped daughters. This is fucking awesome.
A man.
That is awesome.
Wow.
Holy shit. Trish said, having the strength to get on that snowmobile and race down that mountain to save my sister and I, how much blood he lost, he couldn't see. His face was swollen shut. Yeah. Getting down the mountain in freezing temperatures, my whole life my dad was my hero, and that just put an exclamation point on it. I would say this dude's awesome.
I would say he's the best dad ever.
Fucking A. Jesus Christ. And Lanai said, my dad was the most amazing hero that I've ever known. Beautiful, kind blue eyes. He was extremely kind and generous in every way. So police arrive at the cabin now to go figure out what happened back there, because they said there's people shot back there. So, of course, a rookie deputy is the first to get to the scene.
Fantastic.
Of course he is. Of course it's a rookie deputy. And he described the scene as, quote, looking like a mini war zone.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's so he said in the garage there was a 12 to 18-inch puddle of fresh blood. The blood was frozen solid by the sub-zero temperatures.
And that's what he was trying to start the other machine, probably.
Yeah, that's the puddle of Rolf's blood.
Dad's blood.
Yeah. Right. The first deputy described the smell of burning hair and clothing as he began to walk through the cabin as well.
God.
Yeah, that's Rolf. And as they continued to search the house, they discovered that the top floor was still on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were like, oh, shit. And I have pictures of that, too, by the way, of the fire. They found, they said it was horrible. Blood was everywhere. The living room carpet was so drenched with blood that it pooled on the wood planks underneath.
Oh, my.
All the way through. The oozing blood formed icicles where it leaked through the cabin's floorboards. Jesus. I have pictures from the basement of blood sickles coming from the ceiling, which is the living room floor. It's fucking... I'll put it up on social media. It's disturbing. They said the crime scene photo of the painted outlines detailing where the victims were found. They found that. Bloody drag marks led to the... That's where they found the victims finally. They followed the blood. They said that after they killed him, they dragged him across the living room floor and out to a deck. They put him outside. Outside. Yep, you can see they have the marks are on snow. The tape, the crime scene tape is over snow. They covered them with a blanket and snow to hide them quick so nobody would come across them right away. They said there was evidence everywhere. They even found a bloody shoe print that belonged to one of the guys out in the garage. Fingerprints everywhere. They did nothing to hide what they were doing. It was a terrible crime. Also, they said Summit County Detective Joseph Offret said that in addition to these crimes, there were 10 other break-ins discovered in the cabin complex up there. They said, we have reason to believe these guys spent a considerable amount of time in that area. We know they did. They were there for about a week and a half. So Ralph is transported by medical helicopter to University Hospital, where he ends up being in good condition, gets himself out and released in time to go to the funerals for his wife and mother-in-law.
Shit.
He's at the funerals. That's fucking insane.
What a tough man.
This guy is, I mean, wow. And the daughters didn't know he was alive the whole time. They thought he was dead, and all of a sudden, here's fucking dad. It's like,
still next to us. Jesus.
That's crazy. So, he was released there. Jesus, man, this is harrowing. Later on, they asked Ralph the distance he was shot at. The second shot that was fired, he said it was very close range. The plastic wadding from the second shell was stuck in my head.
Unbelievable.
That's how close range it was. That's close. Yeah. So when they search the house, they find maybe the most disturbing thing of this entire deal. Blood sickles and all.
Yeah.
They find videotapes, Jimmy. Okay. Now, they said about evidence, one of the officers said the number one concern in this particular case is rescuing anyone who might need assistance. They didn't know what happened. Secondly is to preserve the evidence at the crime scene. So they find a video camera. Inside, they find a videotape. And we're talking a 1990s VHS camcorder here, okay? Yeah. They said, we had no idea what might be recorded on that. So they said, they thought it would just be the family stuff. He said when they played it, all they could say was, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. No. Holy shit. They watched the tape, and there is some of the family on there later on. But what they find is Deli and fucking Von Taylor, they used the video camera to video themselves sitting in the cabin, hanging out, opening their Christmas presents, Jimmy.
What?
They were opening. I seen the I'll show a picture on social media of it, of Von Taylor holding up a book, like one of those big baseball card books full of football cards. He's holding them up, and that he unwrapped one of the kids' presents and is showing the football cards to everybody.
What a piece of shit.
I saw a Pro Set Dan Marino in the middle. I remember seeing it.
Not a bad card.
Not a bad card. So these pieces of shit are so casual, just opening up presents and, what do you got there? Baseball cards, open it up and show them, hold it up, dude. Wow. And he's like showing them. Then they just like talk about what baseball cards are worth. Are these worth anything? I don't know. Or listen that. Which ones are worth stuff? And they're like talking about how the baseball card fucking market works.
At the time, it's fucking screaming.
It's screaming.
It's doing great.
There's baseball card shops all over the place. Yeah. So these idiots are filming themselves open. I mean, this is as cold as it gets. Just waiting for they were just made themselves at home, dude. They ate food.
Right.
They cooked food and ate it.
Knowing what they're about to do, this is like extra spit.
It is disgusting. One of the patrol deputies said, hundreds of crime scenes later, it still ranks right up there. It's still very vivid to me. Probably when I got about 10 feet from the door, I picked up a faint smell. It was kind of like burnt hair and maybe burnt fabric, like clothes burning. And then he found the garage as well.
Sir, what have you seen?
Since then, hundreds of crime scenes.
Still ranks right. This should be by far and away the worst thing you've ever seen.
He's seen dead babies, Jimmy.
Yeah.
He's seen people kill their babies. Yeah. That's what it is, I think,
I've
right
heard
there.
Of drug addicts that put their baby in the microwave to dry it off.
You never know.
After a bath. Jesus Christ, I can't imagine.
So, oh my God. He said, this guy at the scene said, as I started up the stairwell, I could see holes in the walls, bullet holes coming from one wall across the stairwell into the other wall. There was blood smear on the wall. It looked like a bloody hand and had wiped down the wall. That's when he called it a mini war zone. He said there was 2 bodies. I checked for a pulse, but I knew in my mind they were deceased. I actually walked into the smoke before I realized that the top floor of that cabin was on fire. Then our mindset was to protect the victim's property because we thought the cabin was going to burn down. On top of the coffee table, there was a VCR camera and some tapes. That's what
they snatched.
Yeah, the camcorder. Lanai said about this, quote, I remember thinking of the pure malice and hate that these men must have in their hearts. What heartless jerks. Why would you do this to our family? Yeah, this is just... Yeah. Let's be the worst people ever. Let's be like movie villains. Let's just do that. Like, why are these people so evil? Like, that's what they are.
Understated with heartless jerks, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Lanai said maybe she's a nice person. She's not going to call them cocksuckers like us. Right. That's all. She seems
heartless
nice.
Cocksucker sounds a little better.
It sounds more on the money, but she's sweet, so she's not going to say that. Her statement was, they asked her, okay, did Vaughn seem to be in control of everything? Was he bossing Dave around? Or I don't know why he's Dave now. He's Edward Stephen Deli. I don't know where Dave came from, but they're calling him Dave over here. I don't know.
Old Dave.
Old Dave, whatever, Davey Deli over here. Was he bossing him around, or were they both doing it? And Lanai said, no, Dave was the bossiest one, but Vaughn was like the one that did everything. Like he did the shooting. He did the shots.
He's the cold-hearted fuck, yeah.
But there's 44 slugs in people, too, so they both did. Also, they said that Deli said this. They kind of backed up the same story here. So Lanai said Von Taylor and Ed Deli very much each took their own separate part in murdering my mom and Grams. I do not feel one man in any way, shape, or form was more responsible. Taylor was an evil man. He had no remorse, no regard for life whatsoever. And he's the one opening the presents and doing it in a really shitty way. You could see it in his eyes. You could see it in his countenance. From the moment we saw him to the last time we saw him in court, he just had this air about him of anger and zero remorse.
Yeah.
Her official statement was she observed the shooting from 5 feet away. She said that Taylor carried the .38 caliber, Deli carried a .44. She believes that Deli fired shots from the .44 while Taylor fired shots from the .38. And the bullets recovered at the scene, analyzed by the crime lab, said that the most serious injuries, likely the fatal ones, were caused by the .44.
Right.
So Deli was the one who did the most damage here. They said that showing that 6 .44 mag bullets were recovered from the bodies of Kay and Beth, or under the floor under the body. So he pumped 6 shots into them,
right?
And only 2 .38 caliber bullets were recovered. So Taylor did the first bang bang, right, and then fucking Deli went through and dumped his .44, emptied it out into them too.
Do you think he didn't want to shoot the dad because he didn't want to tip the dad off that his gun was empty?
That he didn't have any bullets? That's possible. Yeah. Maybe he refused to do it. Maybe he said, I can't, and they were because I don't have bullets, rather than saying I'm out of bullets, which would make them. Yeah, that's a good point. He didn't want to
tip him off that he's empty, and he could probably kick the shit out of both of us.
Yep, very
Clearly
much.
He's the tougher man here.
I would say I would not want to fight Rolf.
No, God no.
At this point
Rolf's
in time,
a bad man.
He's a bad man. They said that it appears that from the crime lab report that Mr. Deli inflicted all 3 gunshots on Mrs. Potts. So they're saying that her thing was, she said Taylor shot the grandmother, but it's not his bullet in her head. It's the .44. So it must have been Deli. And among all this confusion, and your mom just got shot, I could see the whole thing being a blur at that point. Bullets
tend to move really fast, too. You can't really see which ones come out of which gun.
Yeah, and there's gunshots. How loud a .44 is in a fucking enclosed room, right. You wouldn't be able to see or hear. The sound would make you blind. So, not that that's possible, but you know what I mean.
You get it.
So the charges against these 2 idiots here, they charge them on Christmas Eve, of course. The 8 first-degree felony counts, including first-degree murder, aggravated arson, aggravated kidnapping. Yes. Oh, and also Deli pointed the gun at Deputy Coleman, was also charged with aggravated assault for pointing it at the cop.
Yep. What do you think they're fucking... Where are you going to go?
That's what I mean. You're going to butcher these people and then just snowmobile off and no one's going to notice?
Where you... How you...
Leaving footprints and fingerprints and...
You're not going to make it.
Taking their vehicle, which is a pretty good connector to them, and snowmobiles. And,
yeah. You're not going anywhere. You're on a mountain. You're in a 1,300-person community. And every one of them know what happened. You're in trouble, man.
And they know that that's not your car. They know whose car that is. They know that family. They know what's up over there.
In the middle of that weather?
Yeah, where are you going, bro?
Do?
This is not a good plan. Head to Mexico. That would have been a good plan. This is not a good plan. The Summit County Public Defender, which in the newspaper, Jimmy, you got to roll your chair over. I got to show you this. Look at this typo in the fucking newspaper.
The pubic defender.
The Summit County Pubic Defender, Elliot Levine. The pubic defender. It's in the news. Just don't misspell public, please. That's, you can tell. He's a pubic defender, this guy.
He sounds like a bad wrestler.
The pubic defender! And he comes like, ah.
He just face fucks everybody.
He has the most hair. You can just see his big bushy fucking pube mound.
The pubic.
Big old mound of pubes under there.
God damn it. He's got to be furious.
This guy deserves to be called the pubic defender because he's a fucking idiot. We'll talk about it. Pubic defender Elliot Levine tried to get 4 of the counts dismissed against Taylor, citing significant missing links in evidence.
Sir.
Here's a link in evidence that they found. Put it this way. Apparently, from the cabin, dipshit Taylor called a buddy of his, Scott Manley, who's still at the halfway house. He called the halfway house that he escaped from.
From the house.
From the house.
Doing this bad stuff.
Yes. Very smart. He called. This is wild. Yeah, the phone records, so we know it happened. According to phone records, the call was made from the cabin on the 22nd to the Fremont Correctional Facility where Manley was being held. So it wasn't even there. It was at the prison. Manley said when the cops talked to him, he acknowledged he got the call but refused to disclose any contents of the conversation, immediately invoking Fifth Amendment rights and fear of, quote, the snitch jacket treatment in the prison system. So he doesn't want to get stabbed. He doesn't want to get put in PC. He doesn't want any of that shit. He just wants to live his life. Yeah. He said, I'm in prison. It ain't worth it. I like being alive. That's what he said.
I don't want to wander around in the blue jacket, the one that says stab this guy.
Stab me now. He did submit to a taped interview with the Summit County Sheriff's Department detective Joe Offrit 4 days after the phone call and the tape. And they end up playing that tape in open court. So it doesn't matter anyway. Right. On the tape, this guy says, quote, he said he was going to shoot some people. He said he was going to waste them all. He said he wanted to kill some people. Because this is before the shooting. He called him just like, hey, what's up, dude? Yeah, I'm just at this house. Yeah, getting ready to kill some people. I'm going to waste them all. Folks. I'm going to waste them all. Yeah, fuck this. Fuck Christmas. Christmas? Ah. He's like Dan Aykroyd in fucking Trading Places now, taking a piece of salmon and eating it through his beard.
Salmon through his Santa beard.
That's beautiful. So he wanted to kill some people. Taylor is going to plead guilty. That's his strategy. Plead guilty.
Wow.
Okay. He figures because the death penalty's on the table.
Yeah.
So he figures if he pleads guilty, they'll probably go easier on him and let him not have the death penalty, even though he keeps saying he kind of wants the death penalty, which is weird. Quickly on his psychiatric thing here, he'll talk to somebody, and they will cite his history of suicidal ideations, mood swings, and referral for mental health treatment at the Iron County Jail. And they said his psychological testing revealed him to be extremely paranoid and borderline schizophrenic or depressed and suicidal.
Calling all dog owners. Your furry friend deserves top-notch nourishment, and Ollie delivers the clean, fresh nutrition your dog needs in 5 flavors they'll absolutely flip over. Ollie is made in U.S. kitchens with ingredients carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world, with absolutely no harmful fillers or preservatives. With protein-first recipes like fresh beef with sweet potatoes, fresh turkey with blueberries, or fresh lamb with cranberries, you might start thinking, dang, my dog eats better than I do. And that's probably true when it comes to Ollie. Give your pup a fresh start this new year by letting them taste test a personalized meal plan with Ollie. Head to ollie.com/Wondery. Tell them all about your dog and use code WONDERY to get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/Wondery and enter code WONDERY to get 60% off your first box. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie.
Creating really great retail experiences is tough, especially with multiple stores, teams of staff, fulfillment centers, separate workflows. It's a lot. But with Shopify Point of Sale, you can do it all without complexity. And let's face it, acquiring new customers is expensive. With Shopify POS, you can keep shoppers coming back with personalized experiences and first-party data that give marketing teams a competitive edge. In fact, it's proven, based on a report from EY, businesses on Shopify POS see real results, like 22% better total cost of ownership and benefits, equivalent to an 8.9% uplift in sales on average relative to the market set surveyed. Want more? Check out at shopify.com/Wondery. All lowercase, and learn how to create the best retail experiences without complexity. Shopify.com/Wondery.
There's no fixing this one.
Not really. The doctor concluded that, quote, the random property destruction in the cabins around Oakley and the destruction of human life itself, in itself, a level of violence sometimes seen with head-injured or somewhat brain-damaged people. Yeah. He just likes to break things. He's like a 12-year-old.
Yeah. But, James, the next step to what they did is rape and murder. And they had two people who they were absolutely going to, right?
How eventually, I'm sure.
For sure, right?
But I mean, how much did you expect that the first thing they were going to do was rape those girls?
I was afraid that it had already happened and they had it videotaped when you said, guess what they found.
Oh, okay. No, no. That would have been terrible. But no.
That's where they were going.
Never touched the girls sexually because they didn't have time. Basically.
It was on its way.
Oh,
for sure.
If they got to some clubhouse, that shit was over.
Yeah.
Now, the psychiatrist also said with testing his head that he presents no history of head injury that you can see now and no evidence for brain impairment other than some degree of learning disability and math and English. He's a bit of a moron, let's just say. So the other thing is he satanic? They asked. Is that part of it? Because it's Utah. They really want to know. Right. Is it Satan? The doctor stated that he did not assume all the statements made to him by Von Taylor and Mr. Deli were true, because my evaluation was limited to determining Mr. Taylor and Mr. Deli's sanity at the time of the offense. It was not necessary for me to fully develop the truth or falsity of these statements further. For example, although he may have dabbled in satanic cult worship, I'm skeptical that Mr. Taylor could have done this regularly on Saturdays for 5 years and kept his family unaware.
Right.
Makes sense. I do not believe his statement that a 3-year-old girl was sacrificed at one such ritual event to which he was invited but did not attend. However, he may have believed it. My report reflects the statements made to me by Mr. Taylor and Mr. Deli, but cannot be interpreted as offering an opinion on the truth or falsity of those statements. So This is what he said. I think it's bullshit, but don't hold me to that professionally.
He says they meet Saturdays?
Apparently they meet Saturdays, yeah. Okay. Well, they go berry picking first, and then they have their satanic meeting. Because you got to have, then that way you have berries to eat while you have your meeting. It's nice, you know?
So sacrifice a 3-year-old.
Yeah, they jar it up, make jellies and such. It's really nice. So, or maybe it's 3-year-old sacrifice day. You never know. Are we doing jams and jellies, or is this sacrifice? Okay, sacrifice. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'll go put my blueberries back. Save them for next week. Cool.
Once a month, Tom Hanks shows up.
You know, yeah, it's great. So that's the sentencing is the big thing here. He pleads guilty, decides to have his sentence because he can have it. I guess it's his choice whether to have it his penalty judged by the judge or the jury at this point. He chooses the jury.
Okay.
Over the judge. He figures he can lean on the fact that he pled guilty and hopefully
Sway
get
some strangers.
Yeah. They've seen less of his background and records. The judge knows all this shit. So the jury is 7 men, 5 women, 12 people. And we'll talk all about them because, oh, boy, is that fucking crazy. Now, when asked the day before his sentencing hearing started about it, he told the Salt Lake Tribune, Taylor did, quote, "I'm pretty much able to go either way. I wanted, not sexually, but he said, I wanted myself to get the death penalty, but my friends and my family and even my lawyer could not allow me to plead guilty and ask for the death penalty." That's kind of bullshit. He's tired of it. He said, "I face the death penalty or life imprisonment. The death penalty is the easiest way out. It's the quickest." Yeah. Keep that in mind. He thinks the death penalty is the quickest way out. Till the end of the story, remember that.
All right.
Let's talk about the jurors quick here. A few of the jurors. Keep in mind, there's only 12 of them. I mean, there's alternates, but we're going to talk about the main jurors here.
Sure.
Okay, one of the jurors, Joseph Jenkins, in May 1991, that year, he was the director of the Summit County Health Department. He's also a lifelong friend of prosecutor Bob Atkins.
Oh, that's not good.
And worked with prosecutors Atkins and Christensen in the county office building. The county attorney's office was the legal representative for the health department, as acknowledged by juror Jenkins, who said he regularly consulted with both Mr. Atkins and Mr. Christensen on ordinances.
Yeah, but don't worry, I can be honest and
totally cool. Yeah, they have just as much credibility as the defense attorney to me. It's fine. Despite this apparent attorney-client relationship, neither the court nor Levine, who's the defense attorney, asked any follow-up questions or sought to probe the extent of the relationship.
Pubic defender.
the pubic, he's so pubic. This guy sits on the jury. They let this guy on the jury. Juror Cheryl Chamberlain disclosed that she was a cousin to Judge Edward Watson. She's the fucking judge's cousin. You can't have that. Who heard the preliminary hearing, and that her son was married to prosecutor Bob Atkins' sister.
Don't worry, pubic defender. You're gonna have a fair trial here.
No challenge was made to remove her.
What
she
a
sat
boner.
on the fucking jury.
What a boner.
This guy is the pubic defender. And that's why I said he deserves it. Fuck that. Good. The newspaper probably knew more than we did.
Yeah, he's an absolute boner.
Oh, you think that's bad? 2 jurors? Well, Juror Dennis Gunn.
Yeah.
New prosecutor Atkins from being a lifelong resident of the county. Moreover, Gunn acknowledged that he had a previous attorney-client relationship with Mr. Atkins occurring just 2 years ago. No one asked another follow-up. Sure thing. Let's seat him on the jury. That's 3.
There's only 1,300 people here, James.
Fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. Holy shit. How about 4 times? How about fool me fourth thrice? I don't even fucking know what it would be. Fool me 4 times. Juror Blaine Moore worked with prosecutor Bob Atkins' mother at the LDS Temple.
Amazing.
More, oh my God, Jesus Christ. He also expressed his belief in the belief in the doctrine of blood atonement, acknowledging anyone who kills must also be killed.
My God.
So the
Were
court,
the other 8 the pubic defender's brothers?
well, only if my cousin could be on there too. All right, well then I'll have my neighbor. He's a real nice guy. I'll bring him in here. You can have your brother. The court. The prosecutor trying to save this guy as a juror said, well, because this guy was a Mormon, the juror, the LDS Church does not accept the doctrine of blood atonement. And this guy said, well, whether that is or not, I think that, that you should kill him. He expressed frustration at housing guilty people in jail at his expense.
Oh, he's a cheap bastard.
And doesn't think that's right.
I shouldn't have to pay for it.
These are your and the defense said, perfect. Seat him.
still do.
This is the jury pool. Just don't fuck this up. You got the biggest scumbag on earth, the terrible things. You have videotape. You have eyeball witnesses. You have a guy who's going to come with fucking hole scars in his face talking about going on a snowmobile. Just get seat a fucking jury. If you're the prosecution, get rid of those jurors. You don't need any in here. Just make it fair.
A man
Make it fair.
Who has freshly thawed blood sickles.
Fuck me.
That guy's going to testify today.
Yeah. So the jury pool is so bad. I don't know if this is the reason or not, but on the opening morning of the penalty phase, Von Taylor attempted suicide by slitting his wrists.
Couldn't blame him at all.
Did you say that his sister? Jesus, fucking fuck this. There's no way.
I am so fucked.
Holy shit. So the medical examiner testifies. I keep saying this is crazy. This is the crazy part. This is so crazy what he says here. Okay, this happened in a court of law. Mm-hmm. All right. During the penalty phase, prosecution called medical examiner investigator James Bell. Bell conducted a portion of the investigation and gathered some of the evidence. In May 1991, Bell had accepted a job with the FBI investigating multiple murders and deaths, kind of like Mindhunter style. Yeah. Near the end of the direct examination process, the prosecution, they asked Bell to rate this killing, because you've seen a lot of murder scenes and killings. He said, oh, yeah, tons. They said, do me a favor, rate this one 1 to 10.
What?
Okay, 1 to 10. What do you think he's going to ask him? 1 to 10, rate what 1 to 10?
1 to 10,
seriously, what would a prosecutor ask him to rate it? Cold-bloodedness
level of
or
blood. Yeah, how much blood?
Quote, grossness.
How gross is this, sir?
Now, you've seen a lot of gross stuff, right? I have, sir. Well, this is pretty gross, too. How gross was it? Tell you what, 1 to 10 using the grossness scale. Tell us. Then
how many grosses is this?
This is the quote from the prosecutor. You've indicated that you've basically done hundreds of these crime scene investigations involving shootings. Mr. Levine has indicated that all shootings are gross. On a scale of 1 to 10, could you characterize how gross this shooting was? Ew, gross. Imagine medical examiners going through pictures just going, ew, gross. It's so gross in here. It's just gross. I can't do it, guys. Ew.
How many ews and yucks is this?
Ew. I give it 8 ews. That's what it is. It's an 8 ew. This guy said probably a 9.
It's a 9 gross.
And they said, why would you say that? He says, because it's a stranger-to-stranger murder, face-to-face shooting, and the victim sees it coming all the time. It's cold-blooded. It's fucking nasty shit.
So why isn't there a 10, sir? Lack of jizz.
Lack of jizz. I'll tell you what. If they jerked off on Granny, right on her perm, then I would have said, it's 10. Yeah. It's a 10. It wins. But... they didn't. If they just
that's got to be what makes it the lack of 10.
If they had their way with Rolf out in the garage, I feel like that would be something, right?
If I were that guy, I'd have to ask the follow up. Why not a 10? Just out of curiosity.
Why not? Now, Scott Manley, the guy who got the phone call in prison from Taylor,
the non-snitch.
The non-snitch. He's now in the Fremont. He lived there at the time. Now he's at a halfway house. Okay. Oh, the Fremont Community Correctional Facility is a halfway house. Okay.
Really?
There we go. It sounds terrible, but it's a halfway house. So, Jesus Christ. The police go to Manley's room to talk to him to follow up about, they know the phone call came. When the police entered his room, Manley, this is from the report, was, quote, observed with his pants down, looking at pornographic material spread out in his room and masturbating.
Morning, guys. I'm almost done.
Well, he agreed to speak to police, but he wondered if he would be in trouble for what quote, Von Taylor had done over the weekend. So that's not good. He knew about it and has his dick in his hand. I swear on this dick.
What you're doing.
Yeah, right now. They didn't say whether he stopped whacking it or not at any point in the interview. He just kept going. We'll let him finish up.
They caught him at his tongue time.
He's usually a lot more open to talking once he finishes, so we're going to let him finish up. Can I get you something to clean that up with, son? So when Manley spoke with police, he was unclear about the date he received the phone call and thought it might have been the afternoon of December 22nd, 1990, which was the day of the murders.
Right.
So that's when Taylor told him all about escaping, how they're going to kill somebody, and how they were on their way to New York. That's where they were going. New York.
New York is, we're going to disappear in all those people.
Not to Mexico. Going to go to New York. Just into a sea of people. It's going to blend in. Tell you what, it's going to be in Times Square, just blending in. Never see us, right? Plain sight. So they show the tape to the jury. It's a 10-minute videotape of them opening these people's Christmas presents and laughing and talking about the price of baseball cards, and it is not good for these guys at all. The judge permitted the tape to be shown over the objection of Levine, the pubic defender, who called it, quote, a ridiculous little tape. It's just a ridiculous piece of incontrovertible evidence that puts my client directly on the scene with little respect for these people's time, space, or property. That's all. It's just silly.
There's nothing to glean from this. This is all just a waste of time.
This is just damn silly. It's a smokescreen by the prosecution to frame my client. So Rolf testifies.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? The jury must have been like, if you're Taylor, you just put your head in your hands and you go, oh, fuck. Jesus Christ, this is fucked. So he said he arrived at the cabin that afternoon to find Tricia, to find the garage door open. As he approached, he saw Lene shaking her head like, get the fuck out of here. He said, I saw there was something not right with her. Someone was holding her around the neck. It was Taylor. So they talk about how, Lene and her mother and grandmother had arrived earlier, apparently surprising them. Rolf said that when the men saw him, they ordered him to strip, and then he gave up $105 from his wallet, took off his jacket. He said, then Taylor told Deli, go ahead and shoot him now. That's what Rolf said. When the first man hesitated, Rolf said that Taylor attempted to shoot, but his handgun misfired. A second shot worked. He said, it hit me in the face and knocked me down. I knew I was bleeding and there was a lot of numbness. I laid there and tried not to move, which also very hard to do.
Yeah.
Not grab at your face and try to hold it. He next smelled gasoline being poured over his legs and back and head.
Jesus.
And then they shot him again in the back of the head.
Oh, my God.
He said he doesn't know who fired the second shot because he had his eyes closed.
Well, I can tell you who it wasn't.
Yeah, definitely.
He didn't have any gunshots left.
No more. I mean, maybe he had extra bullets. I don't know, but it didn't seem like it. So because he didn't fire at the cops either.
Right. I don't think he had any bullets left.
I think
he spent them all and didn't expect anybody else to be here. I think that's what happened.
It made him feel cool to still carry it.
Yeah.
So the men with his daughters drove off on the snowmobiles. He said, I played dead and waited for the sound of snowmobiles to die away. And then he talks all about how he fucking dug himself up and did all of this. And they were like, oh, my God, this is crazy. Holy shit. So the medical shit here, a licensed psychologist with a specialty in criminal psychology examined Von Taylor to see if he suffered from any neuropsychiatric injury, found that he suffered from moderate to severe brain damage, which has affected his ability to fully appreciate the wrongfulness of his conduct or conform to the requirements of the law. She concluded that information contained in the pre-sentencing reports, prison and jail records and files, prior psychological information, and information observed and noted by family members were sufficient issues in 1991 to raise the issue of brain damage as a possible explanation for criminal acts. Wow. Also, she noted that the first shrink that interviewed him was unaware of the head injuries and repeated exposure to farm pesticides. So this doctor went on to talk about how frontal lobe damage can be associated with violent behavior.
Yeah.
Now, Taylor testifies too. He has to.
Yeah.
Has to.
You got to beg.
You have to say, I'm human. Hi, look at me. I'm a person. I'm not a monster. Look, look, I'm not that bad.
Mush
but
in
you
there.
are.
And
yeah.
There's a guy that used to be a Mormon 3 weeks ago, and he made me do it.
He made me do it. He said his frat was really pissing him off, and he wanted to kill a bunch of people. So he gets on the stand and answers questions there. When the district attorney's questioning him, he really doesn't remember some stuff and remembers some stuff.
Uh-huh.
The DA called it convenient memory lapses around things. He said about this, quote, "I remember pointing the gun at her," talking about Kay and Beth, "but I don't remember shooting. There was so much noise and confusion, I just don't recall." So
How do you forget that?
Yep. He denied that numerous statements that were attributed to him by either the girls or lots of other people. You know, he said, "I didn't say any of that. I didn't say I was going to kill some people. I didn't say I had to shoot this bitch twice in the head."
Right.
Didn't say any of that stuff. So when asked if he felt remorse or could offer an explanation for his acts, he said, quote, "I'm sorry it happened. If I could change it, I would." They asked him about his punishment, and he said, "I face the death penalty or life imprisonment. The death penalty is the easiest and the quickest way. Life would be life. I'm 26. The day I get out of prison is the day they take me out in a pine box."
26 years old.
26. He's fucked this much up by 26. Wow. So the closings, the prosecutor used the evidence over and over again. He talked about the grossness scale again. He said, "If this man thinks it's gross, it's gross." It's literally what he was saying.
He got 9 grosses.
Yep. The documents say that he promoted Bell's credentials as a serial killer investigator and asking the jury to evaluate or compare the grossness of the conduct. Why should he receive the death penalty in this prosecutor's mind? Well, because it's the only appropriate option because Mr. Taylor might escape from prison. He could escape. Now, that's not you can't tell the jury that, though. That's not a reason for the death penalty. I mean, prison might not hold him isn't a way that's not part of it. That's bullshit. How many people escape and are gone forever? It's very rare, especially from death row or from life in prison in a supermax.
But
They're not getting out.
He's doing that because this is an escape, was done on an escape,
but he was allowed to leave.
Best. Yeah, but you can't use scare tactics to
yes,
punish
that's what I mean. He could
funny.
be imagine him popping up in your living room after he escapes from prison. That's what he's putting out there, which isn't part of it. It's not a legal argument. So they said there's no evidence presented at the penalty phase hearing that Mr. Taylor had ever escaped from prison, that he ever attempted to escape from prison, or that he would be housed in a section of the prison where escape was likely or at all possible. Is true. They said it exacerbates the court's refusal to allow trial counsel to talk to the jurors about all this other shit because they're talking about prison and how shitty prison is. Is it shitty enough for this guy and all that sort of thing?
If you were a judge, wouldn't you feel a little bit fucking angry that the guy that's begging for the penalty in this case is telling you basically you can't even hold this guy? Yeah,
you can't do it.
I'd be furious. Who the fuck?
Who can stay in prison? People just leave all the time. Like, so you're saying our entire correction system's a piece of shit in the state of Utah?
This judge is impossible to hold him.
Letting murderers go? Yeah. What's the point? Just let him go. Fuck it. Never mind. So the defense comes in, and the pubic defender Levine. The Supreme Court would later call this closing argument, quote, "not a model of persuasive rhetoric." So that's not good. I'm going to just read right from the document here.
Fantastic.
Levine began by telling a Native American story about how death came. This is every turn, it's like, that's the craziest thing that could happen. There it is, every single time. Let me guess. He set himself on fire, then rode negative 20 degree weather with no shoes. Yep, that's crazy. Okay.
This guy just watched Young Guns, and he's like, that Lou Diamond Phillips is a hero.
Let me tell you a story about the Indian guy in Predator. Remember him? He'd cut the vine and drink from it. Man, he was cool. Anyway, there's a story about him.
A Native American story.
He began by telling a Native American story about how death came into the world, but then failed to connect the story to his argument. It didn't have anything to do with it. He told like this big allegory, this big thing in the beginning, and it had no connection to. It didn't pay off at the end. And back what the Native Americans would say. It wasn't a bookend. It was just a non sequitur.
Here's a Native American story about how death came in this world. Anyway,
Anyway, y'all try that McRib. It's good. Tell you what.
William H. Bonney probably still alive, right?
So, Jesus Christ, this guy is terrible.
Wow.
It goes on to say Levine never asked the jury directly to spare his client's life, although he did say that the killing has to stop somewhere. You got to be less vague than that when trying. You got to be more specific.
He's a real modern Western era Western movie watcher. He quoted Jason Priestley in Tombstone.
The killing has to stop somewhere. Yeah, the Native Americans once said about killing. Like, what?
There got to be some law.
There got to be some law.
He loves Tombstone and Young Guns, this guy.
This guy's a fucking disaster, man. Imagine if this is your lawyer. You no matter how much of a piece of shit you are, you go, this fucking guy, really? Seriously?
That's why he opened a vein, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, he's like, this. I'm never going to win with this fucking guy. I'm crying. I have tears coming out of my eyes. This is ridiculous.
Unreal.
He told the jurors that balancing mitigating and aggravating factors meaningfully was extremely difficult, if not impossible, but they had to do it anyway. Rather than give them a gun, this is how you do it. This outweighs that, so please spare my client's life. Those are the things you do. This is the opposite. He's like, I mean, I don't know how y'all are going to dig through it, but good luck with that. I don't know. He emphasized that Taylor himself thought his own crimes were gross and vile. Gross again. Can we just say it's been adjudicated gross, this entire thing? Legally gross. He repeatedly reminded the jury that Taylor, like criminals generally, do not think like you and I. So, don't try to humanize him and connect him to the jury. Go, hey, you look at him through a plexiglass window and like throw peanuts at him at the zoo. You know what I mean? Animals don't think the same way.
We just need air holes in the plexiglass.
That's all.
Like a cricket.
I mean, we don't want to just suffocate in there. That'd be boring. You can't get him to do nothing. He mentioned, but did not elaborate on, the only mitigating factors he had, which were Taylor's relative youth and clean record overall. Nothing violent. Overall, this is the end of it. Overall, Levine did not give a virtuoso performance.
Very terrible, really.
They just judged him as shit. He also said in his closing argument that, wow, he is so fucking bad. He said that his job, Levine said, wasn't to get guilty defendants off. He's like, that's not my job. I'm a defense attorney. Instead, the public defender said his role was to help guilty people admit wrongdoing and live with the appropriate punishment, which is
what?
Absolutely not how the legal system works at all. That's
no
actually
public defender would ever say that. Why did he say that?
That's actually the opposite of your job.
Right.
Your job is to advocate for a defendant. Period.
Right.
Evidence be you advocate for this man. That's the only way.
To the Constitution. That's it.
That's it. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's John Wayne Gacy or you got to have you get a trial. Everybody gets a fucking trial where anybody is sticking up for them. You have to have it.
Get them to admit and atone. What?
That is bonkers. That is fucking bonkers. He also summarized, this is amazing. He summarized an episode of Law and Order to try to compare it to this as well.
This guy.
Law and Order, fucking Tombstone wasn't out yet at the time.
It was 92 or 93, huh?
Yeah. Tombstone was like 94. So,
was it that late?
Yeah, I think so. So he's quoting other shit. He's quoting Young Guns. He's telling Indians, Native American stories. He told the jurors, he quoted a character on the show describing her legal obligation to do whatever I can to get my client off, she said, as on the show. Yeah. Levine told jurors, quote, in my opinion, that's a bunch of bull. Instead, he said his job was to get guilty clients to admit their wrongdoing and live with the punishment. There's
no way this sticks, whatever happens.
So the sentence comes around here. Yeah. Now, during the sentencing, these jury members who all know the prosecutor and go to the same barbecues on the weekends probably, it was told the jury foreman said they barely talked to each other during the trial. The one guy said, I assure you there wasn't one occasion that a juror brought up the subject of the murder before deliberations. We talked about the weather. Once they get into deliberate, they said after exchanging names and employments, the jury spent roughly an hour and a half in open roundtable forum, taking turns expressing any emotion or bias they harbored during the testimony. He said there were 12 people in the room, we didn't know each other, and we soon realized the responsibility and therefore had a very open discussion. They said that they had all the guns, they had the exhibits, transcript of witness testimony, outline of the criteria. They spent the remaining 3 hours trying to get a full vote and a consensus. Okay, now they come back with a consensus and a sentence. You, sir, may fuck off, death penalty.
Of course.
Which is lethal injection or firing squad. It's a you pick 'em on here too. You pick. So the juror, Dick Andrews, the foreman of the jury.
You pick as in?
You get to choose which one you
Taylor
want.
or them?
Taylor.
Okay.
It's a you pick. Yeah, this is a player option on this one. This isn't a club option. Yeah. So choose your own death adventure here. He talked about the emotional testimony of the girls and the wounded Rolf and the tearful, the whole thing. It's very dramatic. There's living witnesses, which is difficult. That's tough to overcome. He said, once we got in the process, we were very definitely able to eliminate all personal bias. Actually, it says eliminate. There's no. Eliminate. Yeah, this paper blows. All four of us were focused. They did it, and they charged him to death. So he chooses at a hearing that week to die by lethal injection as his choice, rather than the firing squad here. He just said, quote, lethal injection. That's all he said. They asked him if he wanted to say anything else. He said, I ain't got shit else to say. Okay. Send me back. Deli goes to trial.
Wow.
Okay. During the trial, when Lene's on the stand, they really are grilling her about when this bullet came out or that. They're thinking if she doesn't know exactly what happened, then they can trip up her story and say that the other guy did everything. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Lene says, quote, I felt a great burden. I felt like they practically wanted me to be able to see the bullets coming out of the guns, that they expected me to point the exact gun in the direction of every bullet and where it hit at any given moment. Because they were putting the murder weapon in her hands. They were like, well, which was it, this one? And making her hold it, which was scaring the shit out of her.
What?
Yeah. She said, I actually just had a whole epiphany of new thoughts come to that I don't think that was helpful for a victim to have to put a weapon that they watched their family murdered with to even have to touch it. What is the point? The weapons are already on the table. Why would I have to touch it? Right. It's disgusting. Wow. Trish said, these trials were somewhat of a blur to me. I was 16 years old and I wanted to go back and live the life that I loved and not have to keep reliving a nightmare. Deli's lawyer argued that he didn't do any of the shooting. These men were guilty. They committed a crime. They needed to be punished, and we needed to move on. Trish said, I remember watching the look on Deli's face as he came in seeing my father. Like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And it was very apparent to me that he did not know my father had survived. Right. And the look on his face was just priceless, like he had been defeated. My dad survived. We won. That would be like, oh, my God.
Oh, Jesus.
He's alive and he knows a lot. The one cop said he's lucky they used the wrong gun when they shot him. They used birdshot. Very ineffective on the one shot. They didn't know that. I think his odds of having made it and survived an incident like that are probably 1 in 1,000. Yeah. Going through the snow. If his brother wasn't there, he probably would have died in the snow. Mm-hmm.
Wherever they got the gun, they likely checked the chamber to make sure that there was 5 in there, and then closed it and went on their way. No,
went on their merry way.
Anything.
Yep. He's up for first-degree murder, but they're talking about maybe, whatever. So the verdict comes in. He's convicted of second-degree murder. They get him for. Death penalty off the table. This is one holdout juror that would not vote for first-degree murder because of the death penalty. So they had one juror hold out. It was 11-1. So now it's only second-degree murder, and life in prison is the biggest that he can get. So the judge says, members of the family who have testified at this trial in this courtroom have certainly demonstrated tremendous strength and courage, but their lives have been changed forever. You have stolen from the children the love and guidance of their mother, and from Rolf the companionship of his wife. And there are many other victims of this crime as well. Sons and daughters, brothers and sisters. No one likes this poor mother-in-law.
He didn't.
Didn't even mention her. Old bag, like, what the hell? She's a person,
What about
too.
Grandma, you dick?
No, fucking grandma got run over by a reindeer. Don't worry about her. That's what it was. She didn't even get shot. She would have been run over by a reindeer anyway. Who cares? All the loved ones, these two ladies have suffered greatly and will continue to suffer. Indeed, in a sense, I think we are all victims because this is kind of a senseless, violent crime or violent criminal conduct that decent, law-abiding citizens must now walk our streets in fear, and now we must be fearful within the walls of our own home. So, I have searched this record carefully and everything that has been submitted to me for some sign on your part of genuine remorse or regret for what has occurred, for some sign of genuine sympathy or compassion for the victims in this crime. And what expressions I have seen, in my opinion, have come far too late and are far too unconvincing to have any mitigating effect on your sentence. Goes through, you, sir, may fuck off 5 years to life.
Again, Utah with the window.
Yeah. So what they do is apparently there's some sort of board that you go for in front of for this to determine the length of before you get a parole hearing on this type of thing. And they said, quote, this board orders you to spend the rest of your natural life in prison without the possibility of parole. We've decided now you'll never be ready. Bye-bye, asshole.
Get out of here. He
Fuck
gave
off.
him life without on a 5 to life.
On a 5 to life, because they decided we're going to go with the life part of it. You'll never be up for anything.
We don't want to talk about this ever again. Bye.
Yep. Now, after this sentence, Barbara Noriega, who's Kay's sister, mom's sister here, she said she'd beg the parole board to keep Deli in prison for as long as he lives. She said he has no social conscience now. He will never develop one. Give him no more chances. He's had his chances. And then when she heard what happened, she said she was thrilled and said it's the best they could have done. So there you go. Then she said, Jesus, I don't believe we'll ever be able to enjoy Christmas again. Our family's hearts have been broken. We've been brought to our knees. Yeah.
Yeah, Christmas is every year the same thing now.
It's fucking brutal. Her brother Ken said that, which is also Kay's brother, said that even if it takes the family generations, they will use every means available to ensure Deli and Taylor stay incarcerated until they die. Yeah, I would say. So Deli writes a letter to Lene from prison. Yep.
Do you read that if you're her? Oh, God.
Well, here's what she says. That's what I mean. What do you do with it? I think she has a normal reaction that anybody would have.
Yeah.
She said, I went through trying to find happiness in areas where happiness doesn't exist. I went through fear of putting my heart out there, fear of loving someone or letting someone love me, that they would abandon me. I believe it was in 2001 I received a letter from Deli. I thought about it for many, many years and would go to write him a letter, and it just never felt right. It took me over 9 years to respond to Deli's letter. She said, I held on to the letter, and I reread it probably 20 or 30 times. I basically wanted to get a feel if he was truly sorry. I was very careful and guarded with my feelings. Deli has shared with me that he has grown into a man, not the same evil boy that committed the crime, as he put it. I believe that I gained my freedom back for myself choosing to forgive Deli. For me, forgiving does not mean forgetting. But yeah, he's in there forever. Fuck him. Let him go. You know?
It's over for him.
I do not believe Edward Deli has a place outside of prison, but when I came to the place of forgiveness, I felt a tremendous burden of relief off my shoulders. I felt free. So she said, when asked about the letter, her sister said he played upon our spiritual beliefs, which I felt was horrendously blasphemous. His letters were quite obviously sociopathic rhetoric. So different opinion. Claudia Goetz, who's Beth's grandma's other daughter, said she responded to the letter despite her belief that Deli is the more dangerous of the criminal pair. She said he's in so much denial about the incident that he's very dangerous. For his own sanity, he needs to tell the truth about his involvement. For my own sanity, I will find some way to forgive. I personally don't feel hate. I feel pity. You're pathetic, is what she said.
I love that a lot. Good for her.
You're pathetic. This family they're a great family. I mean, they have really great attitudes. Now the family sues the state.
Oh.
They sue Utah saying that Taylor should have been violated for going in the gun shop. But the state has a certain immunity clause to their thing, so that's not going to go very far. But I think it's mainly for publicity so they get their heads out of their asses and try harder. Because they said if you get in their pocketbook, you get their attention, and maybe some things will change. So they said our biggest intent is to let the public know what the state has done. The money is totally secondary. I think these people do just fine.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. At minimum, you're getting them to monitor who they have out on the whatever that fucking
parole?
Monitored, you know what I mean? The monitored parole. You got to keep a better eye on them.
Now, 1992, by the end of 92, the family has moved on. Rolf finds a new wife and gets married again.
Really?
He finds he's of that era of like, I don't know how to make food. I need to find, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to work the oven. I literally need someone. Lanai married in April of 92 and moved to Billings, Montana. Trisha started her freshman year at BYU that year. Okay. So they did all of that. Rolf said, we're going on with the pieces that are left. He said, but the family's permanently changed and tainted, obviously. So Taylor's going to appeal this shit, obviously, based on his terrible fucking lawyer. His terrible guy. By the way, his lawyer, this is what he says. This is fucking crazy. Mr. Levine, the pubic defender, expressed a general misunderstanding about the necessity of consulting experts in court. Instead, believing that all experts are guns for hire who will say anything to support the party paying them. Well, if the other side has them and you don't, then what does that tell you?
You're unarmed.
He also explained that he oftentimes his view is that oftentimes it's unethical to pay an expert to back the defense theory.
Wow.
He's not a defense attorney. That's what he is. He's just not. As an example, he referred to something called his grandmother didn't bake him chocolate cookies defense for not consulting experts in this case. Then he said later on, back in 1990, trial counsel was not aware there was any such thing as a mitigation expert.
What?
Are you kidding me? He said, now I know about it 5 years later. Now I've heard of them, but back then I didn't even know you could have that. In 1996, Levine was suspended from practicing law for 3 years as a result of his stupidity, and his simultaneous representation of James Holland and Von Lester Taylor. Holland was a double murderer who was on death row as well, by the way, who he defended at the same time he was defending Von. He was doing 2 death penalty cases at once. Can't fucking do that as a public defender. By the way, they also weren't paying him shit. They were paying him $7 to $9 an hour to do this in the end.
What?
Yeah. So he thinks, Taylor says, I should be able to take my plea back. We should be able to start this all over again. And they went, I don't think so.
Oh, you don't want to do that either.
No, you're not taking your plea back. That's all. But they did say that Levine did not thoroughly explain all the charges, the evidence, or the possible ramifications of anything. Wasn't in on any of the strategy. Didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They paid the Summit County's public defender $1,000 a month. And gave the lawyer an incentive to resolve cases quickly through guilty pleas instead of trials because he's getting paid on a monthly salary, not per case.
That's why he thinks it's his job to get them to admit guilt and then atone.
And move on.
Yeah.
Yep. Cut bait and go. So it's pretty weird. They said that Taylor, during this whole thing, says he doesn't want to be there. Doesn't want to be at the hearing. Not interested. They talk about his pay, all this shit. Oh, God, his pay. He said, quote, to me, you keep track of time when you're – that's right. He says he didn't keep track of the time. He doesn't know hours. He said, to me, you keep track of time when you're concerned about money, and I wasn't concerned about either. He said, I never took more cases than I could comfortably handle. Wow.
The severity of these cases, though, is extreme, sir.
It's death penalty. You got to be all in. When asked about the number of cases he'd taken to trial, he responded, I don't keep scorecards. I do a job. I do what's needed to be done. I did it that time, and I don't keep scorecards of wins, losses, trials, and settlements. I do a job. So he said the same thing twice, is what he said, without anything else, really. Yeah, this is fucking ridiculous. This guy's a moron. They talked about, it's really all about Levine. It's crazy, the pubic defender. Yeah. He said that at one point he said that, quote, yes, I was lying to the jury, if you want to say that. That's what I was doing. That was closing argument. I was trying to sway a jury to prevent them from imposing the death penalty. I was manufacturing a scenario. Yeah, so that's what he was saying. They were talking about his closing. Why'd you talk about that kind of shit? He said, I had to dissociate myself from what I felt the general feelings were regarding defense attorneys. And he wanted to draw attention to Taylor's decision to plead guilty instead of demanding a trial. He said, I want them to applaud that first step and then maybe cultivate some sympathy. That's what he's trying to do. Mm-hmm. And then not give them the death penalty. That's what he's working on. 2004, Von Lester loses his last round of state appeals as Judge Frank Noel. Is that perfect or what? Yeah. Judge Noel is going to fuck him for a Christmas murder. Judge fucking Rudolph Donner Blitzen told us, yeah, he has federal court appeals left, but they tried to say that his case was like two others, but the judge disagreed. Yeah. Now, Rolf, after the fire, Rolf rebuilt the cabin.
What?
He said, you're not going to change us. Yeah. No, he said, you're not going to change us. We're going to rebuild it, and we're going to come back here, and every fucking year, we're going to come here. We're going to be open presents. We're going to be the happiest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house, or whatever Clark said.
That's what it is.
Yeah, he had a full Christmas vacation meltdown.
Wow.
We're going here. We're going to have fun, goddammit. The sister said he made it better than before. They still go to the cabin and enjoy it with their friends and family. By the way, tons of quotes came from a 48 Hours episode where they interviewed the sisters. It was very helpful. So they said that that the murderers didn't take away the things that they still loved and they still enjoyed their lives, and they called the cabin magical and healing. Lanai said, for me to be a survivor has become a beautiful gift. I believe that I can share it with others. After the cabin burned, we went and rebuilt it and made it even better than before. I can remember my dad. He would say this to me quite often. He would say, Lanai, I know lightning strikes, he says, but lightning never strikes twice in the same location. And I would find great peace in that. Sometimes, if I would ever have fear, I would just hear my dad say, you're going to be safe. Yeah. And you listen to him because, he's the toughest man ever.
Honestly.
So, yeah, they said, her sister Trish said, it's fabulous. We love it up there. We actually go up there and enjoy family and friends. They're not going to take this away from us, the things that we love and we enjoy in our life. They took our moms and our grams, but that's where it ends.
Good for them.
2008, Rolf dies of cancer.
Oh, God damn it.
That sucks. He's like 80 years old, too.
But how awesome is that?
He's almost
cancer
80.
got him instead.
70. He's 70. Yeah. But, yeah, that sucks. But yeah, at least they didn't kill him. It wasn't like residual wounds of that. And they said his last 2 months were spent a lot of time at the cabin, and the whole family was with him, and it was very nice. 2016, there's a Utah death row inmate, which is Taylor. Mm-hmm. He is now saying that he is innocent and should get a new hearing because his case was tainted. So, he said, but they disagree. The prosecution side, the state says, he said, every time I kill someone, it messes with my head. And he pointed to his big fuzzy head. He's guilty. Yeah. That's what they said. 2020, a federal judge disagrees because he vacates the guilty plea and the death sentence of Von Lester Taylor, who obviously should have been going there and has to go through the whole thing again. The U.S. Supreme Court's admonition that an attorney's strategic choices should be accorded great deference is tempered by the requirement that the attorney's decision about the need for or scope of the investigation should be based on informed legal choices. But Mr. Levine was not informed when he advised Mr. Taylor, and he made little to no effort to become informed. There was no articulated or conceivable strategic reason for failing to hire an investigator and experts in a death penalty case. So, conviction vacated. The court decided that if Taylor had gotten more informed advice, then he would have probably gone to trial instead of pleading guilty, and so he should be able to pull his plea. The record shows there's a reasonable probability, because reasonable probability, because I know the probabilities right there, that for trial counsel's failure to investigate, Mr. Taylor would not have pleaded guilty. Now, 2021 is the state appeals the appeal. And the 10th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals in Denver reverses the lower court's decision and threw his ass back on death row.
Wow.
Fuck you. Reinstated. They said Mr. Taylor does not deny he actively participated in the murders. To answer the question of whether he can be actually innocent of the crime, he cannot. Mr. Taylor is not innocent in any sense of the word. You, sir, may continue to fuck the fuck off. Eat all the dicks.
What the fuck?
Yup, Lene's got some kids. Trisha has some kids now. They've had relationships. Their aunt, who wasn't even there, wrote 2 books about the whole thing.
Oh, God.
Murder, Death, and Rebirth, which is kind of about the family after it happened. And then her other book is after losing, this is like a novel. After losing her savings in a Ponzi scheme, acclaimed personal empowerment specialist Claudia Nelson reveals practical and unique solutions. Oh, no, this is an actual how-to book that pack a real wallop in transforming life's challenges into a blessing. There's religion involved. Demystifying such topics as who gives a shit. There we go. Yeah. So that is Oakley, Utah.
Oh, boy.
And that's one of the craziest goddamn motherfucking stories we've ever told, if I do say so myself. There is a lot to unpack there.
He got the chance to die of cancer. Good for him.
I know. Good for him.
Wow, what a tough son of a bitch.
He got to enjoy the next 18 years anyway, you know?
What do you want to bet he kicked the shit out of cancer for a while, too? Good God.
I'm sure. He didn't just give up. No. I doubt he gave up. He at least tried. You know that much about Ralph. Sure. So if you like that, tell the world about it, honestly. Get on Apple Podcasts or whatever app you're listening to. Give us 5 stars. It really, really does help drive us up the charts. So do that, whether it's, I don't know if you can do it on Spotify or Audible. I know you can this one now. Just do it. Please, it really does help. Tell a friend about it. Post on social media. Everything helps. Thank you so much. And that means the most when someone hears it from a friend. It's good shit. Right. Do that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get tickets for your live shows. Holy shit, it's in, we have all the tickets through May on sale right now. The rest will go on sale in just a couple weeks, and we'll be announcing our new show very soon, by the way, as well. Get your tickets in there. February 10th, February 11th is the opening weekend. Cleveland and St. Louis, they're selling fast. It's going to be sold out. Get your tickets. Get in there right now. I know Portland is sold out. We're going to add another show. Yeah. Seattle might get another show, too, because they're about sold out. So check on those and keep checking back. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get you get all the bonus episodes there. So much fun. We really do have a ball on those, by the way. Anybody $5 or above, patreon.com/crimeinsports, where you want to be. Whole back catalog, like 150 episodes, including you're going to get new episodes every other week. 2 new episodes, 1 Crime and Sports, 1 Small Town Murder. This week is no different. This week for Crime and Sports, you're going to get When Athletes Attack, ... fans. It's going to be when they've had enough and decide to go into the crowd and use their physical superiority to settle a score with a heckler.
To beat the shit out of a guy with a day job.
Yes, and we might even throw in a couple comics doing that as well, too, because there's a couple times that happened. That could be fun, just people going into crowds and attacking people. Then for Small Town Murder, Nazis on drugs, baby. Yeah. We're going to talk about what the fuck were the Nazis on that made them think that what they were doing was A-okay and B possible. Drugs. Lots of them. Yeah. Specifically, everything from morphine to meth to fucking you name it. It's all out there. We're going to talk about what Hitler's doctor was injecting him with. what Goering was taking. It's a lot of shit. What they were giving the troops, everything. That is patreon.com/crime in sports. And you're going to get a shout out here. Well, you know when you're going to get a shout out. Right. Wait, follow us on social media first, actually.
Do that.
We are at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook. That said, Jimmie, hit me with the names of the people who, you know what, would never come into our cabin, open up our Christmas presents, and shoot us in the head with 44s while setting us on fire. Jimmie, hit me with them right now.
This week's executive producers are Jordan Bennett, Nikki Jury, Russell Whitley, Carl Kinsler, Erica Allen, Crystal Gennaro, hey Crystal, Larry Butterfast, hey Larry, Alex Hopper, Chrissy Jane, and Jennifer Sellers. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We can't do it without you. Other producers this week are the Shitstein Institute for Higher Learning, Happy Hour in Shreveport with Grandma, King Kong Mosca, Augusta Wynn, and what is it?
Angelo King Kong Mosca. He's a wrestler.
There he is. Toby Flenderson, Brandy Huntley, Janice Hill, Laura Blakesley and KC, Barbara Bocator, I think, Sarah Poilart, Pialoo Dirt, Megan McDermott, Grant Molina, Melissa Gruger, Roger Marty, Lacey Bueller, Buller probably, Samantha Evans, Summer Powell, Grace, nope, that's Bryce. Bryce McCardle, Mark Smith, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. You get it. That's what it probably is.
Merry Christmas.
Sean Patrick Lubert, Georgina Thompson, Lucas Johnstone, Alexandra McCorkle, No Diggity, No All Stickity, Elise Perrin, Bill Hayward, Stephanie Idalski, Andrew Vanover, Jessica Olson, Jamie Paquette, Nicholas Sanchez, Michael St. George, Samra Skenderagic, Kate Disney. Yeah. I hope you're one of the Disneys. That would be... probably not beneficial for you. They don't. I don't know if there's much money in it anymore.
Maybe there's some stock. You might have some stock that got sold.
Fucking Eisner guy. I don't
ABC
know.
Or whatever. I don't know.
Hope you get some ESPN money. Emily Sauliti, Tara Carr, John McQuilkin, I think, Kyle Wagner, Lee Wright, Jen Johnson, Kevin Sampson, Turd Ferguson, the second, not a junior, just the second. Will Aronson, Hillary Cartwright, Vincent Pirandozzi. Oh, shit.
Hey, Pirandozzi. How you doing?
There he is. Tamara Moore, Felix Padilla, Loretta Hurd, Heather with no last name, Melissa Cartwright, Chelsea Whitegin, Jacob Newton, Kelly Mata, Jennifer Craig, Cry Gund, I think, Amber Springston. You just missed Springsteen money. It's Springstun.
Almost.
Brutal. Oh, well. Next time. Ryan Fredrickson, Maria Hards, Tammy Still, Tara Stein, Telly McCune, I think, Kimberly Silas, Graham Buchanan, Lisa Laggard, Bryce Walrath, Katie Sheldon, Rob Bamber, Lauren Egger, Brandon Hodges, Grace Dornan, Brianna Gollum, Kendra Birchfield, Tamara Henley, Ethan Beatles, Cheryl Gridley, Christina Lizaraga, Sarah H., Arsenic Catnip, Chloe with no last name, Jeff Harris, Tarnia Manning? It might be Tanya. Probably just Tarnia. I may have misspelled it. Susan Oldfield, Gwen Valines, Squiggle Wiggle, Nada Britt, Susan Killich, Jude Tarbox. Ew, that... Tarbox? That's like your butt, right?
Tarbox sounds like an insult. An insult for your one of your holes. One of your holes. Pick one.
I really like your Tarbox. Lana Sand.
Back that Tarbox up over here, sweetheart. All right.
I'm going to put my tongue in your Tarbox.
Oh,
Rachel
tongue in Tarbox. Good.
I'm going to tongue fuck your Tarbox.
Sorry.
Julie T. Grantley
Thank you
Morrison.
for giving us money.
May as well, whatever you want.
Oh, God, we're off.
Joshua Henderson, Helen Willits, Helen Gardner, also ISD for Freaks, Triz Dog, Diana Carr, Christopher Lankford, Alice Hadley, Jessica Swanson, Carolyn with no last name, Emily Smyatkowski, no, that's Smyatsitansky, Abby Burbridge, Carol Anderson, Megan Garcia, Jennifer Sellers, Danny Perdue, Rick Habib, Brittany Hall, Brooke Hessen, Pamela Christensen, Joey O'Malley, Matt Richardson, Sheldon Vaca, Rich Muldoon, Paul Hanratty, Kara Pritchard, Vin Chan with no last name, Erica McCormick, Victoria Smith, Joshua Thorne, Rob Myrick, Heather Ellis, Vincent Battle, Eliza Weeb, Callie Damazo, Isabel Rios Torres Padilla, Blake with no last name, Carolyn Emerson, Nurse Ratchet, Brian Mueller, Derek Logan, Patrick Embry, Peter Owen, Laura Dawn Heyman, Abigail Odell, Dawn Stewart, Jared Tiny Fisher, Laura with no last name, Rob Taylor, Kyle James is Rad James, Andy G, Thomas Larson, Molly Salamanca, Mark Allen Dunkley, Melissa Peterson Martinez, Ralph LaGuardia. Is that real? Was that the mayor's name? Was that the Ralph?
Fiorello.
Oh, Ralph
Fiorello LaGuardia.
Is that the person? That's not this person.
The mayor. No.
That guy's dead, right?
He's been dead for 60 years, probably.
Wonder if they're related. Gary Martin.
Maybe.
Gary Martin, Trish Nielsen, Daquan Gerald probably, Joshua Berry, Nicole Horan, oh boy, David Lenig, Count Monette, Jeremy Moore, Will Wad, Jesus Christ, that's a porn star name. Lauren Shuckle.
Yeah, my wad. Right in your tar box.
Will Wad, your tar box. Kenneth Scott, Kenny Kenyon, Kiki with no last name, Lucifer with no last name, Crystal Hill, Chris with a K, Trip Sheehan, Linda Berry, Pamela Smith, Aurora, boy, oh boy. Rachel Laird, Molly with no last name, Nicole Clausen, Sam Evans, James Swindler, Craig Wolseley Grace, Trucker Woman 70, Trotter with no last name, Brandon Henning, Stacy Pfaff. I don't know. Pfaff, probably. The P
Fuck
silent.
Yeah. Rock that shit. You rock that name to the fucking wall. I'm sorry. Just rock it. You got it.
Bethany Remillard, Ian with no last name, Jordan Johnston, Alicia Webb, Jono Cooper, Alan with no last name, Stephen Kelly, Bob, Matt with no last name, Oren Steck, Mark R, Matea Richmond, Chrissy Jane, Leanna Chapman, John Alexis, Green-Eyed Jolie, Dan Nasham, Jamie Kocherga. It's a C and a Z. I'm not good at them. Graydon James, Jennifer Eck, Duncan Lindo, Andrew with no last name, Tammy T-Rex, Sandra Seidensticker, and all of our patrons. Obviously, you're fucking amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, so much from the bottom of our heart.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you do for us and what you do each and every week and each and every goddamn day. Thank you so much.
Make it happen.
You make it happen. You want to follow us on social media, you can head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Links are there. Everything we do, there's links to it on there, so you can find it all over there. Check it out. Keep coming back week after week. Make sure to listen to Express, and Crime and Sports is staying. Listen to Crime and Sports. Yeah. More compact, lots of crazy comedy, lots of crime, lots of fun. That said, holy shit. Until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure. If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a micro-city built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.